formed with a mission to build lives and the community as a whole, the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals.
We're here to provide opportunities on and off the field for young adult athletes looking to get better and win in life.
Oh, it's a great environment. Everybody here is great. They treat you like a family. My goal is to get back to college football, and it'll be a great way to do it through this team.
I went to Endicott High School in New Orleans, which is known for football. I decided to go to Xavier University, and that was an amazing time. I went for chemistry. I majored in chemistry, minored in biology. I loved football. It was something that I loved doing. I loved being a part of it. I loved everything that it brought to me. It created the character that I was, so I needed to be a part of it again, and that's what brought me.
Get recruited and accepted into Johns Hopkins University, and I just played this last fall with their soccer team, and I've come home, currently taking remote classes. We'll have to travel back up sometime soon to follow up, but I'm pursuing a master's in geographic information systems. I had my undergrad in economics. Football team has given me an opportunity maybe to mentor some younger kids into pursuing. From an outsider looking in on this before I did it, I just figured this is where guys go. This is what you got to do, and now I'm as a part of it. I see the inside, and I realize the type of people that are actually here to help those people get to where they want to go. And this is legitimate, and it's for the betterment of the community and the people that make it up.
We work. Beyond the field, the Cardinals are a force for good. From blood drives to back-to-school giveaways and neighborhood cleanups, they make a positive impact on St. Tammany Parish.
For the team for a while and getting older, it's been a real pleasure for me to pass on knowledge and mentorship. We are a team that gives people second chances. We've had some people who have had trouble off the field, and we bring them in, and we've helped give them an outlet, and it's really helped them in their lives.
We play. Football is only about 10% of what this organization does, but the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals do it well. We win. Beyond the scoreboard. The Cardinals provide participants with opportunities off the field, connecting them with education, military service, and career advancement.
So we look forward to working with the players each year, giving them opportunities not only to go on and get their high set or perhaps go further in certifications or even associate's degree. It's more than football. It's about playing the game of life, and that's what we're here to do to support them.
The Bayou Lacombe Cardinals are the North Shore's team, a quality, family-friendly environment while building quality lives in St. Tammany. What more can you ask for?
So thank you to the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals for all you do for the community and what you do for student athletes in St. Tammany Parish.
The United States Coast Guard Recruiting Office of New Orleans is proud to partner with the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals to provide participants the opportunity to thrive in life as one and practice the core values of honor, respect, and devotion to duty.
We know who to call to do all the heavy lifting. So thank you again for what you do in the community, and also
More than football.
Community first.
Opportunities on and off the field. You work, we play,
We win.
as one.
That our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the Let's go Cardinals.
There you go, Ms. Naomi Narcisse, the beautiful, the talented, from the River City Hit Squad, your wedding and corporate event band. We have a cell phone that was found by the concession stand. If you can identify the picture on the phone without being shown it, you will get it. Please check your pockets for your cell phones. It may or may not be yours. Founded in 2016, the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals began with the mission to build something positive and family-friendly in we believe we have set the standard for what minor league football teams do in terms of organization and character. Our mission is to provide guidance and opportunity for adult athletes while providing quality entertainment and community outreach for St. Tammany Parish and surrounding areas. The referees are in the parking lot. We're waiting for them to show up and show out. If you look over to the left, Slidell North Shore Rotary Club, they do have an option to sit on the track, so they can sit on the track. I don't know if they're taking that option or not, but they are here. They're proud supporters of the Cardinals, and we are loving what they do. If you're not an understanding of what the Rotary Club is all about, their motto is service above self. And the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals do ample amount of community outreach, which allows us to partner on a regular basis. They support us, and we are proud to have them as partners in our community and beyond. Thank you for being here. Slidell North Shore Rotary. Your captains for tonight. Number 7, Marcus Connerly. Number 5, Emmanuel Doyle. Number 6, Corey Turner. And looks like number 9, Jay Sean Lee. For the Bison, you have number 21, 40. Bison have deferred to the second half, and you got the Cardinals going to receive the opening kickoff. The captains were 8-12, 8-21, and 4. While we get ready to kick off this game, we're going to go ahead and list a bunch of our sponsors for tonight. Chris T. Screen Printing, Covington Business Association, Slidell North Shore Rotary, Lacombe Family Pharmacy, North Shore Community Foundation, Covington Trace ER, Precision Driving Academy, State Senator Patrick McBath, Cates Digital Marketing, North Shore Technical Community College, Lewis Coaches, Cypress Fabrication Services, Healthcare Search LLC, Southern Physical Therapy, Garden Hub, out of Lacombe, and Bombino Bank, and of course, the United States Coast Guard. Back deep to return, Jay Sean Lee and Marcus Connerly. It is touchback. We're going to take it 1st and 10. We're going to go with a U.S. Coast Guard. 1st down. You got to run up the middle by number 2, Pig Griffin, tackled by a couple of Bison. Looks like number 3 led the charge. There's a flag on the play. Looks like you got an offsides on the Bison. That's going to move them up 5 yards. It's going to be 2nd and 5 from the 30-yard line for your Cardinals. Sorry, 1st down and 5. Got to fix the box. That's going to be 1st down. Those big heavies push the ball forward, and Jeremy Griffin gets about 4 yards. It's going to bring up a 2nd and 3 yards. Play action pass thrown to Xavier Chapman. He had a hard time bringing it in. That 2nd down Garden Hub try is going to be followed by Southern Physical Therapy 3rd down try. You didn't know Southern Physical Therapy is our athletic training's partner. They're located in Picayune and Slidell in the Copeland's shopping center. Checking them out for all your physical therapy needs. This is going to be a Southern Physical Therapy. That play snuffed out in the backfield. Rondé Wright on the carry, number 8. Trapped in the backfield by number 33 and number 19 of the Bison. We're at a North Shore Technical special teams try with the punt coming up. Back to kick, number 8, Rondé White. Back to receive, number 23. Smart play by Rondé White as the snap goes over his head, and it goes out of bounds for a safety. The Cardinals will be kicking off to the Bison.
Safety as opposed to a fumble in the end zone.
You know, and you should never have your skilled position players out there like that. Xavier shouldn't have been out there on punt team. That's just too high risk.
Yep.
And it's not something he normally does. Doesn't understand the schemes, doesn't understand the blocking assignments. They got to get that straightened out.
Well, let's see what the Cardinals are going to do here kicking the ball, because we mentioned their kick game is in disarray. Well, that's you were a fellow teammate of
yeah. It's one of the hardest things to institute in semi-pro is special teams, because quite frankly, most guys don't want to play special teams.
Yeah,
they don't value it in the same air that they do defense and offense, because it doesn't contain the same stat metrics that you see in those other two categories.
And on top of that, you don't get the designated practice time.
Right.
It's tough to get everybody out to practice, and if you don't have the numbers, you got to have your deep snapper, your holder, and your kicker. And it's a trio of guys that got to do their job.
Yep.
So let's see, are they going to kick the ball off, and who's going to kick off from the 20-yard line down 2-0?
And this should be a free punt.
Looks like 13 is headed out late. And this is a long time in between the safety to snap over the punter's head.
I'll be going into the wind, too.
Looks like it's going to be a punt, would you say?
Yeah, it should be a free punt.
So this will be Caleb Campagna, wide receiver, number 13, who will address the ball and kick it from his 20-yard line. 12:48 to go in the opening quarter. Bad snap over the head of the punter, Rondé White, results in a Midstate Bison safety.
Seems like there's a little bit of confusion out there on the method being used.
Yeah, like what are we going to do? But I don't think you can start at your 20 and kick it. Don't you have to be behind your 20 to kick it? Now he does have a T in front of him.
Yeah, well, most NFL teams, since we are playing by NFL rules, will do what they call a free punt. But you do have the option to use a T. It's just you don't see it used that often.
But I'm just not so sure what's taken so long to.
It's because they don't know which method to use, and it's a free punt. He should probably be about 5 yards back
now
to account for his steps.
Now they took the T away, and he's ready to punt the ball. And that's what he was going to do a minute and a half ago. He does punt it. It didn't go very far, kind of high and bounded. That was a wow. Well, that was a bad play. That was a bad play by the special team. The punt returner tried to run under this punt as it bounded. He made contact with it, and I'm not sure who in the Cardinals recovered it, but it's a recovered fumble, and that's a big turnover.
Yeah, that's a Cage digital marketing turnover in favor of the Cardinals.
Can't write it up better than that. I mean, that was worth waiting for. Undecided how they were going to kick it off. Put the ball in the tee. Took the ball off the tee, then punted it, which we thought they were going to do from the get-go. And so the Cardinals are back in business. That is a big break and a bad muff. Right idea if you're the special team returner, but you got to field it cleanly. And had he fielded it and you break that first wave, it's a good play.
Yeah, that was some undisciplined play on the Bison's part. I really don't know what that guy was doing.
No. There's nothing but white Cardinal jerseys around him. Second possession of the ball game for the Cardinals. They trail 2-zip. We're in the first quarter or the first inning. More movement there. The Bison are asking for a false start, and typical the Cardinal linemen are asking for an encroachment offsides.
Yeah,
this will go against the Cardinals.
It would seem apparent this team is a little rusty. The 2 weeks off is obviously had an effect on them. They haven't found their rhythm. But again, it's like I was saying earlier, that week one debacle, I think it looms, especially on the heels of a 2-week layoff.
Yeah. Well, this will be a good time to get your offense in gear if you can do it here at home. Yep, call is illegal procedure. Be a 5-yard mark off. Bring a replay first down, 1st and 15, 12:40 to go. It's been a lengthy first quarter. We've only had one possession. This is the second possession by the Cardinals. They were forced to punt on their first series. Griffin, number 2, joins Epperson in the backfield. Same formation, 2 receivers near, 2 far. Epperson in the shotgun, snap, turn, handoff. Griffin makes the first man miss, 25, 28. Nice tackle in the open field. Gets most of the yardage on the penalty back. He made the first man miss, but then there was it could have almost been a horse collar because he got him up high around the shoulder.
Yeah, it was awfully close. But I will say the offensive line blocked a whole lot better on that play.
A lot better than on the third and short.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rondé White took the shotgun toss. He had just come into the ball game. Obviously, quarterback keeper around the left side, and there was no hole, and he lost yardage. So call it a 4-yard gain by Griffin. Epperson, snap, straight drop. Going upfield, deep, far side of the field. Behind everybody's the wide out, right in stride. Catches the far side, runs out of a tackle. He goes into the end zone. A beautiful, terrific toss from Epperson. I didn't see who caught it. It was the far side of the field.
That would be Jared Jackson. And that is a Lewis Coach's Bayou Lacombe touchdown.
Tremendous toss. Nice play, just how you draw it up. And you know from playing with Epperson that he puts the ball in the money the majority of the time, and he throws a beautiful deep ball.
Yeah, and they just caused me to contradict my entire prediction on the wind here.
On the
because
wind,
he threw that
yeah.
ball directly into the wind. That was beautiful.
Well,
And
he
led his
timed it
receiver.
right. The receiver got behind everybody. So that gives the lead to the Cardinals 6-2. I think they're going to set up to run this one. I think we'll see a lot of 2-point conversions on the night. Now under center is Efferson. I think
And I like this big
bit.
set.
No, it's a quarterback keeper
Oh, a tush
right up
push.
the middle. Yes, I think he broke the plane. I let you say tush push because tush push is like having TP somewhere else. But since you broke the chain, and I wonder if the world champion Philadelphia Eagles have gotten any kind of copyright on that along the way.
Well, if I'm not mistaken, the NFL just recently during the owners' meetings banned that. Am I correct?
They were talking about it. I don't know if it's
Yeah.
official, but yeah.
Impressive drive, though. Way to rebound after that first. If we want to call it a drive, the first go around. This was an excellent way to rebound and get themselves back in the game, build that confidence, knock off those cobwebs after that 2-week layoff.
And under center, you've got Jerv Efferson, who's in the shotgun 98% of the time. He goes up under center, and they were going to stop him, but the push from the back, and I didn't see who the up back was that did the talented move, but that's all about timing. But if the guys in the NFL and the pros can't stop it, I don't know the guys here in minor league football will stop it.
And I think that play is emblematic of the changes that this team has made with their offensive line. This is an incredibly young offensive line unit, probably the youngest this team has ever had, in that they were able to take a very big Bison front 4, front 6, and push them back into the end zone 3 yards. I think it says a lot for this current staff here on the offensive line.
Now we're going through the kickoff routine again, and that is not who this is. Is that Rondé White?
It is.
Rondé White's going to get the Specialty Player of the Game award if we have such a thing.
I keep wanting to call him Rondé Barber, one of my favorite players in the NFL.
Yeah, he's one of the best at his position.
Oh, boy.
He and his brother. There's a little pooch kick. It's open. It's returned at the 38-yard line, number 7 on the carry, making people miss. He gives the Bison excellent field position. So good special teams play. I'm going to have to put some light on the subject, too, because I can't see in here. We got to put some, yeah. So, Lance, do those honors. Take that task and go put the lights on for me. So, good position, field position, ball on the 48-yard line of the Bison. Little pooch kick. So the Bison will take over. This is their first possession of the ball game under center. Adrian Miller, their 39-year-old, soon-to-be 40-year-old quarterback, is in shotgun formation. 1 receiver to the far, 2 to the near, running back to his right. Pass to Miller, turn, hand. His containment breaks down. They should have had him stopped in the backfield. Breaks ahead for a nice gain. First down.
Great run.
One thing about the Bison, they move really fast, and they're fans of 2-step drops and throws. So they move rather quick. This defense is going to have to adapt and be on their heels or be on their feet all night and be ready for anything because they don't waste a lot of time. As you can see right here, they're getting right to the line.
That's Michael Delaney, the running back. Nickname is Midnight. Shotgun formation is Miller. 2 receivers near, 2 far. 1st and 10. Ball at the 44 of the Cardinals. Miller, shotgun. Takes the snap. Man, I tell you what, one of the defensive end was just about a half a step away from picking that and going the other way.
Yeah, and like I said, as you can see, Adrian's is making the first read. He's throwing on the first read. So, the Cardinals have got to be alert because and it's pretty much straightforward. There's not a whole lot of razzle-dazzle with these guys. What you see is what you get, and they're going to come right at you the whole night. They don't care if you adapt. First read is going to typically be where they're going to go.
Loss of about a half yard on that completion. Good defensive stop by the interior of the Cardinals. Shotgun is Miller. He and his Bison trail the Cardinals 8-2. Straight drop. Looking upfield. Comes to this near sideline. Caught. Inbounds. Good speed at this side of the field. I think the defense got lost there. Got some long dreadlocks. I didn't see what number that was on the catch. He's going to the far sideline. Now he switches. That was number 1 on the receiving end. and that will be a first down. That's Kelvin Burns Jr., a wide out. Nice move after the catch to move the sticks. 1st and 10. Snap. Handoff off this right side. Good stop up in the gut by the Cardinals.
By number 41, which would be Tank West.
So West on the stop brings up 2nd down. Bison mixing it up. A little bit of pass, a little bit of run, going from left side, right side.
It's going to be interesting to see as the game progresses, as fast as the Bison are moving with their offensive play calling. Guys like Stephen Wright, if they're able to keep their energy and their tempo for the duration of this game, because it's going to get tiring.
2nd and 6. Low snap. Miller, man, wide open. Oh, I think the quarterback thought the play was going to the middle initially, and then he threw to the outside shoulder. He was open, but he was overthrown.
Yeah, and in a deviation to what they typically do, they actually stood back there in the pocket and looked for the second progression, giving Stephen Wright time to put pressure on the quarterback. He laid a shot on Adrian.
Yeah, if he'd have had more time, but it looked like a little miscommunication, but that'll bring up a big down here, 3rd and 6. Ball sits at the 26-yard line of the Cardinals. If you're the Cardinal hopeful, you would like a stop here, set up 4th down. Not sure what kind of kicking game the Bison have, but this may be 4th down territory on the 26-yard line. Miller, turn, handoff. Good hole, good yardage, good rush. Pick up the first down.
Middle by the Bison. Tackled by number
It's a good-looking running back,
Jackson.
Michael Delaney. There was a hole on the right side, and he picked that up and more.
And Delaney's a 10-year vet. He knows this all too well.
Over this right side,
That'll be
a TD. I guess that was Miller on a keeper, huh? Over the right side. They didn't waste any time, too. After Delaney picked up the first down, they went right to the snap.
You know, Manny Doyle and Stu Wright, they don't necessarily have to get sacks tonight. They don't even necessarily have to get tackles. They just have to cause chaos in that backfield. And right now, the Bison's O-line is winning the battle in the trenches.
So that ties it up at 8 apiece. Looks like they're going to go for 2, I would imagine. They're in no hurry either. I don't guess they have delay of game penalties in this league. So they break the huddle. Now they're going to go under center, just like now they snap out of that. Back in shotgun is Miller after he scored the touchdown from about 10 yards out. Snap, low snap, rolling to the right, looking in the end zone, has time, throws underneath. That'll be short. No, they gave it to. I don't know how you can give him that.
I don't know about that one.
I'd like to see a replay there. There appears to be a flag in the field, but the ball did not break the plane. I did not think.
Well, and regardless, there was a hold on the left tackle, so that should be coming back. Yeah, that left tackle had Stu Wright pinned down pretty bad there.
So they'll retry the 2-point conversion. But I didn't think he broke the plane because the receiver was coming back out of the end zone, and he was tackled at about the half-yard line. So he didn't have it and break the plane. He was outside the plane and went down. So they're going to redo the 2-point conversion. In shotgun is Miller. Trips to this near side. Everybody else packaged in tight. Snap. Better snap this time. Looking upfield. Good defense in the end zone. Excellent defense by the defensive back. Really good defensive play. So the score is 8-8, 7:37 here in the first quarter of play as the Bison come back to tie up the ball game. So a good stand, taking advantage of the penalty and then holding the Bison out. So it'll be interesting to see how much more playing time Rondé White, the Fontainebleau Bulldog, former Bulldog, will get. He's done a little bit of everything. He's carried the ball on a 3rd and short. He's attempted to punt out of his own end zone. And so we'll see. So back deep, it looks like number 7, Marcus Connerly and
Austin Jackson.
Austin Jackson. I think I called him Action Jackson last year a couple times.
Even their name is locally.
So ready to kick off are the Bison going from left to right. Kicking off, I believe, is number 13, Kelvin Gardner, kicker wide receiver. He got a deep kickoff on the opening kickoff of the ball game into the end zone for a touchback. Good strong leg. It's not going to quite go, and yes, it does. Got a good strong leg. Good strong leg. I know he impresses you as a former place kicker / punter.
Didn't expect this.
You got to give him credit.
He's pretty good.
2 for 2.
Yeah.
You saved your special teams a lot of wear and tear.
Well, and that's what you want. Touchback is ideal.
So we're all knotted up, 8 apiece, 7:27 to go. Tonight's ball game being televised on Flying Ghost Productions. We've got the Davis family. Got Fagan up in the booth. I don't know how he does it. He must have a lot of remote control stuff because he's running his own computer. He's running the camera. He's got more widgets and gadgets over there than the law should allow. Of course, I think he did have to use our instant replay monitor so he can see what kind of camera shots he's getting. So we won't hold that against him. Cardinals break their huddle, tied up 8 apiece. Shotgun is Efferson. Snap. Handoff over the right side. Good short yardage play on first down. I don't know that I've seen the Cardinals since 2017 run the ball this many times on their first couple possessions.
It's not often.
No.
This is a run and gun team.
Yeah.
And but, it's also been their Achilles heel in the past. They would get overly greedy with these extremely long, low percentage passes.
Yeah.
Of course, back in my playing days, that just opened up more punting opportunities.
Well, when you become a one-dimensional and it's the long passing game versus containment, short, pick up your first down, but they do have the weapons. Yep. And Efferson has proven year after year that he can hit them. Another running play, breaking tackles. Get up to about maybe the 29-yard line. So Pig Griffin has been the feature back. May as well tell how he got the nickname of Pig. He's at his second birthday. They got the cake. I guess people got tied up visiting relatives. His grandma goes in and sees him with the cake all over him at age 2. So she called him Pig, and that stuck.
Down here in South Louisiana, it wouldn't surprise me if it was a bowl of gumbo.
Yeah, it might have been somewhere there, yeah. And crawfish probably live, running around the kitchen trying to get out of the boil. 2 receivers to this near, 2 to the far. 8-8 ball game, 5:35. Clock is running here in the first quarter. Straight drop is Efferson. Completion. That is Zach Chapman. Makes the first man miss. Goes up ahead. Fights for a first down. So the X factor on the receiving end. That's a good catch. He's going to be the guy. And that's what when they run that play, they gotta look for his speed going deep, and he loves to go deep. So if you can take a couple of those and pick up yardage and pick up first downs, that opens up the deep route. Or let Chapman take them deep on this left side and let somebody come underneath.
Yeah, and he looks like he's walking a little slow back to the huddle. He might be hurt.
So Efferson, snap, straight drop.
Oh, got to catch that.
That's off a receiver's hand. Did it? I think it touched the ground.
Yeah. And I saw that during pregame, a lot of drops outside of Jackson and Xavier, obviously. But some of these receivers are still relatively new to this team.
Well, how are they calling this play?
That was a drop.
Well, that's what I thought. Now we've got a timeout. So we're tied up 8-8 here at Lakeshore Titan Coliseum on the campus of the Lakeshore Titans. I think are they gonna maybe say interception and down by contact? Is that the call? Yeah, that's the call. They ran it back. You thought it was incomplete, but it looks like the Bison are back on the offensive side of the ball, and that's what I think. They think they gave him.
From my vantage point, that ball hit the turf.
Woe be to question you because I can't see that far.
Yeah, if only we had a Bombvenu instant replay, Bombvenu Bank instant replay, we'd be set.
So this puts the Bison in excellent field position on the turnover in the 45 of the Cardinals. Running play off the right side, spin move. running out of tackles, just a really good run off that left side. But you got that first man that's there that's got to make that tackle. That's James Perkins on the carry.
The Bison are winning at the point of attack right now.
Yes.
They're really knocking the Cardinals D-line right off the ball.
But that's where your linebackers got to step in and fill. You mentioned Stephen Wright. He's been a mainstay.
Absolutely love him.
Yeah.
Probably the most well-rounded defensive player I've seen in semi-pro football. Not to mention a great human being. I feel it's unfortunate for me. I never got to play with him, call him a teammate.
Yeah.
But just a consummate gentleman and a heck of a teammate and just a raw talent.
In the championship game over North Mississippi last year, over in Jackson, he had to go both ways, as did Abe Dawson, who retired at age 40, I guess. And they were just worn out because they had so many injuries on the offensive line last year. You can't ask these older guys to play both ways the entire ball game. It's got to suffer offense or defense. I think it suffered both ends. Miller, quick hitch, number 4, nicely timed route, well thrown. So good completion from Miller to number 4, and that is Drevens Lockett.
Lockett on the catch.
So if you pay close attention, you'll see that the defense is simply reacting. They're not anticipating right now. And it's working to the Bison's advantage.
Looks like it's going to bring up another first down for the Bison.
Sticks will move after the completion. Miller throws a good ball, too, and it's all about timing.
He does.
As you said, he's gone to the first option a lot, but that was a perfectly thrown ball, hitting his back in stride, and that's why he was able to pick up the first down.
Yeah, and he brings something a little bit different than Adrian Moore does, and that's that two-headed monster approach. It can work in semi-pro.
So ball is on the 18-yard line, 1st and 10 by the Bison. We're tied up at 8 apiece. Running back going to switch. Now he goes back to where he was originally. Now he's put in motion by Miller. Keeper by Miller goes up the middle, and he did something he told me he wasn't going to do. Wasn't going to run much, just to be running, but he goes up over the right side and picks up excellent yardage.
I continue to be impressed with head coach Nick Blackman over there on the Bison side, sending in additional hand signals, audibling the plays. Just really crystal orchestration on the Bison's part right now.
Zachary Varela on the stop for the Cardinals. So the Bison break their huddle, running back to the right of Miller, trips to the far side, one receiver to the near.
Watch James Perkins on a swing. Oh, they're going to run it.
Handoff over the right side, dipsy doodle into the end zone. So the Bison get in.
It's James Perkins.
Seven.
James Perkins.
Perkins with the score. Makes it 14-8. 2:01 mark of this never-ending first quarter.
And the way the Bison spread their offense on that play, I was really thinking Perkins was going to swing out. They were going to bait everybody over to the left side, and Perkins was going to swing out to the right and walk right in the end zone. But, hey, they went right up the gut.
Well, that was the strength of the formation. Yeah. Trips to that far side, exactly. Everybody else tight. Now a player in motion out of the backfield, set up on this right side to give us trips on the right. 2 receivers far side. Miller attempts to run, stops, and draws the defense and flings it into the end zone. So nice catch.
If I'm being objective now, I'm really impressed with the way this Bison offense is operating.
Yeah, they take in what the defense has given them. They don't make mistakes generally.
The footwork Adrian Moore is exhibiting is just it's impressive. It's got the Cardinals baffled right now.
I talked to Adrian Moore a little bit before the ball game, and you were down there chatting with him, and he said his claim to fame a while back at Holmes Community College was they won back-to-back championships, and he was the point guard. I said, well, what did you do? He said, well, I'd average about 8, 5 assists, but I was the defensive spearhead. I'd get the team's best guy and try to stop him. But he won 2 Holmes Community College basketball championships when he was in college.
See, and I was hung up on him calling me sir.
Yeah.
That really made me feel
old. You got that older look, and he's not 40 yet, so you're not his senior yet. He didn't call me anything. There's the kick. Fielded about the 25-yard line, trying to run out of a tackle at this near side.
Out of tackle of number 88, number 29 on the return.
So that was 29 returning the.
It's going to bring out the Cardinal offense.
So the
for a
Cardinals will
US
come back
Coast Guard
out on the field.
First down.
So they trail now 16-8 after the successful 2-point conversion from Miller. Cardinals been content to try to showcase their running game with a little bit of passing in. So let's see what Efferson does here. Ball on the 35-yard line. Cardinals going right to left. Clock rolling, 1:15 remaining in the opening quarter. Pig Griffin has been in the backfield for the entirety, along being on either on the left or right side of Efferson. They trail 16-8. Snap, straight drop. Nice completion underneath. Short gain. Nobody wanted to stop the tackling there. Whistle blew.
Like
little
short gain of
extracurricular
about
activity after the play.
4 yards here.
Austin Jackson,
Jackson
on the
second down
reception.
side.
Such a talent. Probably the most mercurial receiver on the team. Really talented guy, though.
Yeah, he made some big plays last year for the Cardinals. He's kind of like, I guess, somebody's going to be the second and third choice after Chapman because he's obviously the go-to receiver. He sets up at this near side with Jackson inside the slot, 2 receivers far side. Pig Griffin to the right side. Oh, low snap. Maybe he wasn't ready for it.
Oh,
They should have thrown that flag.
Yeah, that should have been a sparing call.
Low snap, got away from Efferson. He didn't try to run it back. He dove on it, and one of the defenders pounded and jumped on the back of him, and that's like hitting a defenseless player.
Yeah,
but
spearing.
There was no flag.
I guess that's what they called it in the 80s in my time, right?
Yeah, spearing. Yeah. So that'll be the end of the quarter. That was a long first quarter. It's been a pretty good one. The visiting Midstate Bison are leading the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals by a score of 16-8. All right, we'll take a commercial break. Tonight's ball game, Flying Ghost Productions.
Precision Driving Academy proudly displays a level of customer service that surpasses your expectations. Their owner, Dwayne Kern, has 24 years of experience as a driver education instructor. He also possesses 28 years as a public school teacher, coach, and administrator. You're in good hands at Precision Driving Academy. North Shore Technical Community College is committed to providing quality workforce training and transfer opportunities by awarding associate degrees, technical diplomas, and certificates.
All right, welcome back. We've got the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals trailing 16-8, ready to start the second quarter as the ball clubs swap ends of the field. The Bison come in sporting a 3-0 record in this early part of the season under their new first-year head coach, Nick Blackman Sr. And the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals enter tonight's ball game 1-1. This is a kind of a non-league game. The Bayou Lacombe Cardinals are in the South Division of the Next Level Football Alliance, while the Bison are in the Northern Division. Trailing by 8, Cardinals. Third and long, third and about 19 yards. They've got to go to their own 45-yard line to move the sticks. Efferson, the stalwart at quarterback for a number of years, just keeps coming back, defies old man time. Just turned 33 earlier in March. There's some movement. This receiver on this near side broke way too soon. He obviously didn't get the snap count, or he thought he knew what it was because he was 8 yards upfield. So that'll make it a little bit tougher. Let's see if Efferson has a 3rd and 24 play call.
I've never understood the neutral zone infraction. It seems like in some plays they let them jump and then get back before the snap. Other plays they whistle it dead. Does it vary by ref?
Called inconsistency, I think.
Yeah.
I've made the same observation. 3rd and 24. You got to protect the ball here, though. If you're Efferson, you don't want to give up something deep in your own territory at the 20-yard line.
But you at least want to get 10 yards given the special teams weaknesses tonight.
Short route Oh, trying to make some moves, makes a couple people miss, fights up hard, but he just had a country mile to go.
Pass caught by number 3, Austin Jackson.
So Austin Jackson, his second reception, be held way short. So Rondé White tried to punt on the Cardinals' first possession. He'll come out, and we'll see if we can get the deep snapper for you for the Cardinals. Takes those 2 to tango, the deep snapper. Snapped it over his head, Rondé White, in the opening quarter. So what you got to do here, special teams. I've also often wondered about why late in the play clock before the snap do you realize you're short a play, and it's happened just now. They're short a man.
Yeah, well, this goes back to what I was saying earlier about the orchestration of special teams and semi-pro. It's one of the most arduous and hardest things to put together.
When you're facing a 3rd and 24, you know you're probably not going to pick up the first. You need to get out there and do your job. So good snap, punt. It will bound. Not a very good punt, but.
Well, it's one of the things I made in my pregame notes is that, if the Bison are to win this game, one of the things they have to do is capitalize on the special teams weaknesses of the Cardinals. And that doesn't necessarily mean they have to block kicks, just really take advantage of these short fields, which we're seeing right here.
Yeah, they'll take advantage of this. 12:42 remaining in the second quarter, 16-8 in favor of the visiting Demons. I've been impressed with their play calling and the footwork of Adrian Miller, the soon-to-be 40-year-old. Well, he's got skills if he was a point guard in college. He sets up in the shotgun, running back to the left, 2 receivers either side, 1st and 10, ball in the 47-yard line of the Cardinals. Good hands on the snap, good running play. They're just wearing out this interior defense. First time I think we've called his name is at 20.
Yeah, Calvin Harris.
22.
Calvin Harris for the Bison on the run.
So he made a good break at the line of scrimmage. Good gain.
Well, you look at the body language right now. The defense, they do look a little defeated.
Infraction on the play.
Oh, okay. But you look at how the players are walking back right now. There's a little bit of lethargy, and this is one of those things that I was concerned about with that 2-week layoff. And again, the hangover of that week 1 game. I have to keep bringing it up because in semi-pro, these things, they permeate, they last.
Yep. I got to get out my thesaurus. They permeate. All right.
I watched Jeopardy yesterday.
Oh, well, look at you. How impressed I am. Yeah, but the question is, how many of the answers did you get right? None? 2?
0.
Yeah, well, that's a none. Adrian Miller, shotgun at his own 40-yard line after the penalty. Pump fake. Oh. Now he's getting pressure from the back. Now throws it underneath. The ball is incomplete. I just think he downed that.
Again, more excellent awareness on Adrian's part.
Yeah.
Despite the play, not gaining anything, his vision of the field continues to impress.
Well, they had the pressure on him, and he rolled from left to right, and he felt that pressure coming behind him. So instead of forcing the ball upfield and making a mistake, bring up 2nd and long, bring it up 2nd and 20. They had that opening run nullified.
Every so often in semi-pro, you come across a quarterback that is just, they excel in this controlled chaos environment. And he's one of those guys.
Looks like another mark off here. There was a flag in the play, and this will give the Bison position at the 49-yard line of the Cardinals. Set up 2nd and 11. Call it 12. Shotgun is Miller.
And they got weakness coverage down here on the bottom part of the field here. There's opportunities.
Drop back. Miller looks upfield. Completion far side of the field. There's another timing route. He threw the ball when his receiver made the break ahead of the secondary getting there.
6 yards to go.
So we got 11:30 remaining here in this first half. 16-8 in favor of the visiting Bison. They are on the move. Benefited by a penalty after they lost some good yardage on first down after a holding call. Turn, run up the middle, nothing but space, good speed, running into the secondary and running through tackles, and does not come down until about the 16-yard line. So really good run off that right side. Nice gain as they move the sticks. As you said early in the ball game, Lance, the Bison interior offensive line is dominating the up front guys for the Cardinals.
You know, and I saw no indication on film that this would happen. What a hit.
Nice tackle. Number 25, Stephen Jackson.
So Jackson on the stop.
Safe to say that, you know, this Bison team is really playing like the 3-0 record that they are.
Yeah. And they do have the lead, and they've had controlled plays too. I mean, they've mixed up the run just enough and the pass, and Adrian Moore has been the difference in the ball game to this point. So they're facing a 2nd and 7. Ball spotted at the 19-yard line. Pressure, steps out of it, looks in the field.
Wow.
Yeah, he threw that ball. Miller just bided his time, took 2 steps towards the line of scrimmage, stopped, eyes downfield.
Impressive.
Yes, very much so.
I lost for words.
He's got the smarts. He's got the arm strength. Great footwork. So touchdown pass of 19 yards.
You know, for a quarterback to be able to stand in the pocket like that, again, in minor league football, in that environment where it's not as choreographed, it's a little bit more wild, wild west. For him to have that poise and make those reads, it continues to baffle. It's impressive.
Ja Hill on the receiving end of that 19-yard touchdown from Moore. Now they'll attempt a 2-point conversion. 22-8 is the margin. 10:06 on the clock here in the second quarter. Snap, a little low. Got a flag, a whistle stopping play. False start against the Bison. That's the one thing they haven't done well is attempting to go for the 2-point conversions. They've had miscues on their 2-point conversions. Other than that, they've been pretty solid.
Well, that's just them showing us that they're human.
Yeah. They have dominated play to this point, not only by controlling the offense, but by great play calling. But it all starts with the elder statesman, Adrian Moore. He's been non-flappable. When he does get a little pressure, he either steps up or steps to the side of it. Always head downfield, good vision, and he's picked out the right receivers to this point.
Well, I'm going to prophesize and say this is going to be a Covington Trace ER defensive stop.
Okay, let's call it. 2-point conversion attempt. Moore, empty backfield. Trips to the far, 2 to the near. 2-point conversion attempt. Snap, straight drop. Now he's rolling away from an on rusher. Looks upfield, dodging people. Now he's got an alley to the right. He may try to take this in himself, and he took a hit, but he rolled in the shotgun, empty backfield, trips to the far side, 2 to the near, rolled from right to left, got out of the ankle tackle attempt by one of the Cardinals defenders, retraced a step, back up to the middle, and just brought it in for the 2-point conversion.
I couldn't sit still. I think I need to go to Covington Trace ER with that one. That was wild.
Would you pull something out of your back? Or what? Your knees hurt you?
It seemed like they had him contained. Again, look at the body language.
Yeah.
This is where minor league coaches tested. This is where
it's helmets. It's helmets off of the players' heads.
Yep.
Coming over to the near sideline. You don't see anybody greeting anybody. And they got to get themselves fired up. But it's got to start at the defensive line of scrimmage. The defensive line has been pushed around pretty bad. And that should not have been resulted. Excellent play by the quarterback Moore, but it should not have resulted in a 2-point conversion.
Yeah, and I've always felt, and I'll take some ownership in this during my playing days with the Cardinals. I've always felt like this team has never realized just how good they are, how good they could be.
Well, they won a year, but the one win was last week, a forfeit that they drew, and the Bison come in here 3-0. Nick Blackman, their first-year head coach, used to be with the Mississippi Dynasty, won 2 or 3 titles with them back in the day, and his roster is just littered with former Dynasty players, so he knows what crew he's got. And the biggest guy he brought with him was his 39-year-old starting quarterback.
Anybody in the
Adrian
semi-pro
Moore.
world knows who the Mississippi Dynasty is, at least in the Southeast. They are a legacy team.
Here's the third kickoff. This one's a little shallower, does not go into the end zone. return from left to right, high stepping over one of the special teams attempted tackles, brought out good field position. That's Marcus Connolly. I've said all along from day one with the Cardinals, Marcus Connolly has been one of their all-purpose players. Solid.
He's all-time great, one of the all-time greats.
No doubt.
That's all that has to be said about that young man. From Franklinton High School.
Yeah, Demons had a heck of a run last year in their prep season, playing in 8-4A, made it to the Dome, and got beat for the state championship. But second-year head coach Nick Saltaformaggio had championship at EJ and I think won one other one. And he struggled his first year with the Demons, only going 3-7. New location from the South Shore to the North Shore, new program. Kids got to learn the coach. Coaches got to learn the kids. In administration, Principal Shane Smith over there wanted a winning former head coach, and he got it in Nick Saltaformaggio. And in his second year, they took the Demons to the Dome and had to settle for the runner-up last year. In motion from left to right is Jackson. Trips now on this near side. Looking upfield, here's Epperson. Throws underneath. Nice catch. Good speed. This is a first down, and Epperson just put the ball on the money. On the money.
Drew Brees-esque. And that's a Cypress Fabrication Services Cardinal first down.
Did you see who had the catch? I thought so. It was Caleb Campagna. So Campagna run a nice route and was hit right outstretched hands, and so he gets the reception.
And noted no alligator arms on that one.
No, he reached up, but
exposes himself.
But Epperson, when he throws the ball, when he's got time, he puts the ball in the money. He's a majority of the time.
He is definitely a surgeon.
And he amazes me because I think it was 2 years ago, broke his ankle.
Yep.
His professional job is a truck driver. And I said, well, driving these big rigs and you got a broken ankle, what do you do? He says, you make do with what you got to do.
He must love big trucks because he drives a dually as his personal vehicle. I don't think it gets any more country than that.
But the heck of an athlete. Now, when he was in high school at North Shore as a Panther, he was an all-district quarterback. And until he had a knee injury his junior year, he made big things happen for the Panthers.
And a little known fact about him is that he was also a quarterback for the Crescent City Kings, which is another one of those legacy teams in the minor league world. A nemesis of the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals.
Yes.
And a personal nemesis of mine.
Maybe you can elaborate on that, or you don't want to.
Oh, I will. We'll get back to that one.
So Epperson shotgun, straight drop, looking upfield, going long, far side of the field. He's got a guy wide open over the shoulder.
And an uncharacteristic drop.
Far side of the field. I couldn't tell if he was going to haul it in or not. That was Chapman. Well, that's his deep guy, and he ran under the ball. He just didn't bring it in down to the turf.
But there was really good separation on that play.
And
if they
he was wide
keep
open.
That tempo up, look for those opportunities. Chapman can literally get this team back into the game, much like we saw the old Saints when they would be down 3 or 4 scores
and
they would fire. There is a similarity with this team when it comes to Chapman and Epperson. They're able to score at will when they get on a roll.
What surprises me is that how he can get so open deep, because in film he's the deep threat. He's the number one go-to guy, and he historically runs past DBs and safeties going deep. The only thing he didn't do is he didn't bring it in.
And they're still debating that about guys like Randy Moss. So, when you're good, you're good.
Yeah. Snap. Straight drop. Pump fake again. He kind of
Jackson.
Man, that's a catch. I thought he pump faked and waited too long, but he had enough on the throw. I thought that was going to be picked off. I really did. But Jackson kept his eye on the ball. Nice hookup with Action Jackson. That's about his third catch, I think.
And see, I'm liking this tempo. I'm liking the no quit tempo. You get a couple of minutes to cry and lick your wounds, but you got to get it back out there and you got to get back on that horse. You got to find scores.
The only thing that happens in this case, they've gotten totally away from the run. The pass is working, but if I'm in the defensive secondary and you don't show any running ability at all in this second quarter, I'm going to drop back and then I'm going to tee off on your throws. Trips to the near side this time. On the inside is Xavier Chapman. One receiver to the other side. Here's a little screen, number 11. You see that they read that play.
That play took a little too long to develop.
Yeah. And you're also asking Chapman to be the lead blocker in that setup, in that scheme.
And Jackson's a little gimpy right now. He was injured pregame, bumped into another player. There was
looked bad.
Yeah, it did. He's fortunate to even be out there. He looked hurt, pretty significantly hurt during pregame.
Was his teammate Jared Jackson that ran into each other? So that's two wideouts that ran into in pregame drills.
Yeah.
And it was vicious because they both were down for a while, so they're probably still feeling the effects. But Jackson has fought back for 3 catches. Shotgun formation. 2nd and 11. Pig Griffin, as I said, they're going away from the run. Griffin running strong and hard inside.
Run up the middle by Jeremy Pig Griffin, number 2. That's going to be about
I've also thought about this a lot. When you got your quarterback, your head coach is now your former offensive coordinator, E.J. Walls. Your quarterback comes all the way over here, gets the play, goes all the way back.
The Bison aren't showing the same defense that they showed last week. They were running 8 and 9 guys in the box. They've spread out their defense a little bit more in anticipation of this aerial attack that the Cardinals are capable of.
So to bring up 3rd and 3 after a nice gain by Pig Griffin, sets it up manageable. Efferson trying to get some of these points back on this drive. Player in motion, sets up on the right side. Slant route, perfectly timed, perfectly thrown.
Perfectly caught.
Did he?
That's a touchdown.
Yeah, but
why is there no signal on the field?
That's I see no signal. That's what I'm looking for. Did he get in?
There's nothing to discuss on that one.
I don't. But they are discussing it. But neither official raised their hand, so I haven't seen a touchdown yet. Yep. Executive Director Garen Narcisse in the PA said a touchdown. Now that's what you call a delayed call. I didn't think there was any doubt about it. He was 2 yards in the end zone.
Looked clean to me.
You should wait to see the hands go up, but not only did none of them went up. Chapman, the Lakeshore grad. Efferson teams up with his favorite target from all the years here together with the Cardinals. Perfect route, perfectly timed thrown ball, and all we had to do was wait to see that. But I'm like you. I thought it was a touchdown from Jump Street.
Yeah, it was never in question to me.
And it wasn't 21 Jump Street. But
right.
All right, Cardinals break their huddle. 24-14.
Legal formation.
They can convert here, make it a one score and 2-point conversion away.
Oh, and it's unfortunate because they got Austin Jackson up there on an island with his defender. That's
just
those
1-on-1. Yep. But you just made it a little tougher.
They've got to get those play calls in faster. And that's the thing. You come back from a touchdown, you regroup, you have a chance to speak to your key personnel that this miscommunication shouldn't happen. You shouldn't have an illegal procedure in a situation like this.
And it looks like the officials give them enough time to get the plays in. 4:28 clock is now rolling again.
But I got to say, I'm impressed with Coach Walls' response to this deficit thus far.
Well, it's week 3 for them, and you don't want to get blown out of the water at home, so they had to turn something around. It's been the passing game, so it's worked when he's been on. Efferson trying to make it a 8-point ball game. Straight drop, pump. Now he's rolling from left to right, and he should have time. Can't find any eye throws. Underthrown. The ball was almost caught, but it falls to the turf.
I know we didn't make that 2-point conversion, but one thing I noted on that play was the blocking of Eddie Graham. That was sterling protection. It just took too long to materialize.
Well, the play was designed to go to the left side, and when Efferson rolled back left to right, everybody was kind of like, maneuvering in the end zone.
And perhaps that's an indication of, and I said earlier that they were losing at the point of attack. Maybe now that's starting to change. The tide has changed. Cardinals have found their footing, and they are starting to win those battles at the point of attack.
Now, depending on who's going to handle the kickoff, and it looks to be Rondé White, this will be another kind of pooch position kick. If you're the Demons, you want to look for this short kick. And if you're the special teams for the Cardinals, you want to get an idea, are we going 18 yards deep? We kicking it to the 40? Where we kicking it to?
And if you're not a trained kicker, I think personally the best thing to do in this situation is just to have them squib it, kick it on the ground. It's likely to go farther.
Bouncing somebody.
To handle. You have the chance of getting a turnover.
So we got a 10-point deficit. The Midstate Bison lead it 24-14, 4:21 to go here in the first half.
I used to bug old Coach Narcisse about that call.
Did you?
The old poocher, yeah.
Yeah.
I think I drove him crazy with that.
So the ball is on the tee. Rondé White, pretty much evenly balanced on each side of the football at the 35-yard line. There's the whistle. White approaches the kick. There is the one by it. It hit right off a guy, but an excellent special teams play. That's one of their running backs, I believe.
See, I think that makes more sense. Higher probability of a positive outcome, although it didn't work in our favor there.
I think that was 15, Antonio Buckner, listed as a linebacker. The ball bounced off of him, but he made a solid play downing it. So this will bring up 1st and 10. Excellent field position at the 45-yard line. So if you're the secondary of the Cardinals, you just can't get beat here. You gotta not give up any more points going to halftime. And more, let's see if they try to run the ball or throw it. Snap, handoff. They're running this left side. Nice short yardage play.
2 yards.
And again, Stephen Wright, good hustle.
Yeah, Stephen Wright's the stalwart there, but short gain, call it a gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Clock is still running.
And it looks like Stephon Jackson's hurt.
Player limping to the sidelines. 2nd and 8. Moore. Low snap, feels it, hits number 4. Good pressure there by the Cardinals defense. So in the reception is Drevius Luckett. Another flag. Let's see what the flag is about.
Make some noise.
So that was a short 2nd down pass. 3rd and 5.
Let's see, old Manny Doyle give us something here on 3rd down.
Ball on the 40-yard line of the Cardinals. Bison going right to left. Low snap again. Moore looking downfield, no hurry. Oh, he missed the receiver. Threw it just a tad behind him, but the ball fell incomplete. He had him open, and he had enough for the 1st down.
Guess what, Cardinal fans?
That's Kelvin Gardner who dropped the ball. Brings up 4th down, and I would think they want to go, depending on where the ball is. It's 4th and 5. See if you can get a defensive penalty. Only 2:35 left. Moore looking to the far sideline, getting the play called in by his former head coach with the Mississippi Dynasty and now with the Bison, Nick Blackman. Snap, straight drop, looking, looking. Think this falls incomplete. He had his receiver, but the ball was dropped. Should have been caught far side of the field. So,
and we're going to call that a Garden Hub turnover on downs.
No doubt about it. So the Cardinals come up big, holding them on a 4th and 5. The recipients of excellent field position at the 40-yard line, their own. Cardinals take over with 2:27 to work with.
And that's what I call the old 8-11 defense. And I'll have to explain to you later on what the old 8-11 is.
8-11. Not like 7-11.
Not like 7-11.
No. They had another player.
Slurpees.
They had another player, right? Let's see what the Cardinals can do if they can take advantage of that defensive stop. It was a big stop that they needed and got. Now, you've got to be patient with the ball. You've got 2:26. Just don't make a mistake of your own here. But they'd love to go into halftime cutting this 10-point deficit. Running play to Pig. Griffin over the left side. Good speed. He got around the outside. So big gain, gets out of bounds.
Seems a little shaken up.
Yeah, he took a hit at that far sideline, probably got about 7 or 8 yards before it was all said and done.
Yeah, Griffin, one of the things about Griffin is his low center of gravity. I've always thought that he hasn't mastered the art of doling out punishment and lowering those shoulders. As talented as he is, it's even more so for his own protection, but also to accumulate additional yardage.
Sure. Well, Pig Griffin has his helmet off, and he's coming to this near sideline. But that was a quick hitter off the left side. He showed a good burst of speed. So brings up second and manageable. This is you might want to air it out. Got 2:17 on the clock. According to the scoreboard, the Cardinals have 3 timeouts remaining. I'm not sure.
Yeah, and shout out to our clock operator over there, man. He's doing a heck of a job.
He's doing it.
Appreciate you, sir.
So to bring up a second down, call it 4 yards, going from left to right are the Cardinals on their own 46-yard line. Efferson, handoff over this right side, cutting inside. I think he might be. It depends on the spot. It's going to be real close, depending on the spot.
And ideally you want to get a touchdown here. I mean, obviously we want to get a touchdown, but this is a great example of not having a kicking game to get that last score, if that's all you can accumulate right before the half, to take that momentum.
We're at the 2-minute warning. Score remains 24-14.
Let's get a list of these sponsors.
So I think it's safe to say it's touchdown or bust.
Yeah, and what I liked about that play, it picked up the first down, so you're at the 2-minute warning, so you can kind of you can still mix in the run.
Yeah.
With your allotted timeouts if it's accurate, and you've now got less than, you're right at midfield, so you got 50 yards to go. Cardinals need a score bad to get back in the ball game. Would you even be able to venture a guess? Do they have a field goal kicker on the team that isn't either injured or Furman out of town?
With Furman trying to get a pro day in Baltimore, and congratulations to him. Colin Whitney injured his knee and had to retire abruptly. And then there's the third guy who's capable of doing that, Michael Grace, who's not here tonight. He's also injured. So all options exhausted.
So I wonder if Rondé White has ever attempted an extra point or a field goal.
I don't believe he has. But even if he is capable, who's going to hold? Because it's not as easy as people
Who's
think.
going to snap? Who's going to hold?
Well,
that trio you need. We can't even name one of the 3.
Yeah, well.
All right, they're back in the field, ready to snap the ball. New set of downs, 1st and 10 after the nice pickup on that run.
I think they're going to stretch the field here.
So we got 2 to the top and 2 to the near. Looking at this side, 1-on-1, going upfield. No, ooh, incomplete. That was single coverage. The safety was late getting over. $154 remaining in the first half.
And Kershondas Young, number 28 in the Bison, got really good penetration and got in Jervis's face.
Going to be a Garden Hub second down play.
I think that was Caleb Campagna who was trying to beat them deep. He had the up back beat, and the safety was late getting over, but pass was a little errant, so it brings up 2nd and 10, does stop the clock. See where Chapman will be the slot receiver to the far side of the field. 2 receivers on this near side. It's not Pig Griffin behind Efferson, different back. Waiting for the snap is Efferson. 2nd and 10 from midfield. Looks upfield. Good slant route. Good catch. Cutting back upfield. Nice reception.
It's going to be a Harold Lewis coach's
And there's plenty of time. The Cardinals don't have to be in a real hurry right now. Given that they're, inside the 30, there's a minute 34, the clock's ticking. They could save those timeouts.
Jackson and Chapman run excellent routes.
And they're really good at getting underneath the defense.
Yeah, and that's what that was. You send a guy deep, he runs a route underneath. Again, good timing by Epperson, wide open, good pass and run. Gain of about 20 yards, sets up 1st and 10, 1:13, clock is moving. They need to start watching it on this next snap.
Jerv is so businesslike. He's like a
Yeah, he is. He's like he's in no hurry, but I wouldn't be taking this much time. Straight drop, going upfield for the home run ball, wide open, far side of the field, over the shoulder. He just missed him.
Just outside of the reach of Xavier Chapman.
He had Chapman one-on-one running by the defense, and that was a missed opportunity.
Yeah, and the hardest catch to make.
Yeah, over shoulder. It was deep. Now, he's made that over-the-shoulder catch quite a bit, and Epperson has put the ball out there, but that was a tough one to come up with. Because you're running full speed. Do you look over your left, your right? Has the ball gained velocity going away from you? But that was a missed opportunity.
I have to tell you, too, his decision-making tonight is polar opposite of what we saw in week one. And that's a good thing. I mean, he's making really good decisions. He's finding the one-on-ones, the weaknesses.
But I don't know if you can use Chapman as a decoy again or to go deep. I let him go deep, but I throw underneath to Jackson on that left side. He's in the slot inside of Chapman. Straight drop coming this way. Complete underneath. So the receiver makes the catch. No, now they're saying he's inbounds. They're running the clock.
So for the clock to stop getting out of bounds, he's got to be moving forward.
And he was coming
when he goes out.
They have it. That's a timeout. That was a good hookup, though, with Jackson with their other receiver underneath. That was, Jared Jackson, the other Jackson.
And Jerv wanted to go for the whole thing.
Oh, yeah.
But he took the safe route. Exactly. He took what the defense gave him, accepted it, and they lived to fight another day.
So they take the timeout. They have 2 remaining, 40 seconds to go in this first half. Seems like we played a ball game already.
Well, it's been a really good game, actually. The early stages of this game, it was not
slow.
Looking very good.
Not
slow,
looking good for anybody.
Yeah, we were a little bit discombobulated, and now it seems like the Cardinals, the birds are leaving the nest.
Well, you got to look at 2 things here. You're faced with a 3rd and 5, so you've got to pick up the first down, either on this down or go on 4th and short if that's where they are. But then you got to worry about the clock. They do it the 2 timeouts.
But definitely in 4-down territory.
Oh, yeah.
The kicking game.
Agree.
Well, would it be nice to have Furman here tonight?
Barring you get a sack or a bad penalty, but they're set up in good position, 3rd and 5, ball on the 25-yard line. Cardinals going left to right. They trail 24-14, 40 seconds remaining.
Watch Jackson on over. Yeah, he's going to come over the middle. Let's see if he throws him right over the middle.
He's had good protection,
There's a soft spot.
There's good
there it
protection
is, right there.
again.
It's there.
Didn't like what he saw. Comes back, crossing route.
Touchdown.
Touchdown.
No, incomplete pass.
Who dropped that one? That was wide open.
What a pass.
Yes. Slant route. He waited. He threw it on a dime.
You got to make those catches.
So the 13 Campagna comes up a little short on the play.
Campagna couldn't bring it in, but he ran a great route. He started out here on the right side, cut it out, post route, crossing the field, and Epperson had him on the numbers.
He had a step on his man, and he had no defender in his face.
Yep.
It stands to reason.
He just dropped it.
Yeah, you just got to catch that one.
Big drop.
Well, that's one of those that I hope we don't look back at in the 4th quarter and say, that would have been a game changer. The statistics don't lie. Teams that score touchdowns right at the precipice of the first half typically win ball games.
Yep. So we've got another timeout, 31 seconds remaining. That was one they needed to head back, and Chapman dropped one earlier on this drive, and then that one they cut this deficit. So they got another 4th. They got a 4th down they got to convert. Still have, I assume the Bison took that timeout, because the Cardinals still have 2 on the scoreboard. So the play they have not thrown a screen pass to Pig Griffin yet.
Right.
And I've said for the last few years they need to use him out of the backfield a little more. You send all these guys out in the route, he can beat a linebacker. And 4th and 5, I'd like to see him do a safe play, something like that right now. Chapman's still in. Both Jacksons are in. Campagna is in. So it's been Austin Jackson and Chapman on the left side, and it's been Jared Jackson and Campagna on this side, and that's the same formation. Pig Griffin is to the right of Efferson. 4th and 5 from the 25 of the Bison. Snap. Throws cross field. Caught. Nice route. Get the timeout. First down. Clock is stopped. Be a timeout, Cardinals. Well, it shows you what I know. He threw a pretty far pass to the far side of the field. Wide up, but the receivers are doing their job. They're getting open.
Yeah,
they've been
definitely
wide open, generally speaking.
Yeah, and you can check the signature on that one. That's a slide out Northlake Rotary first down by the Lacombe Cardinals.
So I see you got those sponsors on your phone now. You got some handwritten stuff here.
Yeah, well,
are those additions or
the doctors, the late night ER surgeon scribble notes aren't going to get it done. So
no,
yeah, we're going to let the old iPhone do the sponsors.
Yeah, there you go. There you go. So big first down, 4th and 5. They convert, pick up 7 yards. Ball sits at the 13-yard line. 1 timeout still on the board for the Cardinals. So you've got time to, run pretty much whatever route you want to run here. Only thing you have to stay away from is that bad S word. You don't want to sack here. But it's 1st and 10 from the 13. Same formation, 2 to the far, 2 to the near. Running back to the right of Efferson. Dropping back, looking inside, wide open, back of the end zone. I think he might have been out.
Yeah.
Ran out of room at the end line.
Again, another missed opportunity. Soft spot in the zone. He's wide open. Just overthrew him.
Yeah. He came down with the ball, but he was out of bounds. He had gone past the end line. That's another tough one. That's 3 potential scores to 3 different receivers on this possession from midfield. 16 ticks remaining. Clock does stop on the incompleted pass. Cardinals trailing the Bison 24-14. They break their huddle. It's been the same formation, same players every down on this drive. Waiting the snap. Shotgun is Efferson. Straight drop. Crossing wide open in the middle. That's Campagna on the reception, and they brought that in. They earned that one. They earned that one.
Same play they ran earlier when he dropped the pass.
Yes, that's right. So 13-yard scoring connection from Efferson to Campagna. Cut the lead to 4. Go for the extra 2-point conversion. Efferson jogs out. Joining him in the backfield.
That was a Precision Driving Academy drive that just beautiful.
I see those
just
Precision Driving School wannabe drivers in the neighborhood all the time in the Mandeville area.
They drove an M1 Abrams tank on that one.
And so I go to the right or left of wherever they're approaching the light. John Priola used to do driving for Mandeville High School. There is in.
So
Pig Griffin. Pig got a little pep in the step and gets into the end zone over the right side. Successful 2-point conversion. Yeah, John Priola used to be a head basketball coach at Mandeville High with the Skippers for years. And he also a tennis coach and did some, student driving in school. And I'd call him every now and then to get updates on the basketball team. And he said, well, I'm driving at the moment. So, well, you don't need to be talking. I'll call you later. He said, no, I got the foot brake on for the students. So that's a big drive, big conversion, obviously gets them back into the ball game, gives them the momentum, pep in their step going into halftime.
Touchdowns cure all ills. Now you look at the body language. This team is high-fiving one
changed,
another.
Yep, and rightly so.
Yep.
And you look at the far side, and it's not as much pep in their step for the Midstate Bisons. We got a ball game.
But this is, again, reflective of new head coach E.J. Walls' ability to help this team face adversity and fight back because, this is actually a much better Bison team than we thought we were getting.
Yeah. Well, they got all the changes from the Mississippi Dynasty, including their head coach, starting quarterback, but they've got to find a way to put more pressure and do a better job in the secondary in the second half.
Exactly what I was talking about earlier.
Yeah. Picked up at about the 25-yard line. Now you got to make a tackle if you're on special teams. This will be the last play of the half unless he runs out of bounds. They have 3 ticks, so they got him down just in time. I think he was trying to get to the sideline.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a loss of lane discipline there. They all consolidated to the middle and left the sides wide open.
This will be a pump and go. This will be 3 seconds. So if you're the O-line, you say, hey, our quarterback, we're going to give you time. You just let it go. And if you're the secondary, it'd be interesting to see how far back they set up. But you can't let anybody beat you deep. You keep everything in front of you because barring a penalty on the defense, this will be the last play of the first half.
Yeah,
Bison lead by 2.
Yep. Yeah, and I'm going to point out to you, you don't want guys like Pig Griffin out there on these kickoffs. It's too high risk.
Yeah, especially when you're not deep in the backfield. But he's been out there.
Cardinal fans, earlier on you had an impact.
So 3 seconds left in this first half.
Because a big play to happen.
This ball game could have gotten out of hand, but as you said, Coach E.J. Walls, first year as the head coach, he was an off-and-on offensive coordinator with the team. Blaine Bond, first-year head coach, I think for the first 2 or 3 years, good winning record. He stepped down. Then he came back last year. Now he stepped down after taking the Cardinals to the championship game last year. They finished 9-3, lost that championship game to North Mississippi by a score of 20-0. They just had the flattest game of their lives. A bunch of offensive linemen were hurt, missed the game. They were playing injured. Abe Dawson, Salmon High grad for 2003. Linebacker in high school, defensive end with the Cardinals towards the end, and Stephen Wright played both ways. They had me winded just watching the game as a fan, did their best. 3 ticks left. Keep everything in front of you, but if you're the Cardinals front 7, you got to stop the quarterback. Fake toss all the time in the world.
As a holding.
Throws upfield. Incomplete pass at the far side of the field. I know he's got the arm to get it there, but that was at about the 7 or 8 yard line. But, yeah, that was a big-time hold. I thought there was initial penetration. Did you see who that was for the Cardinals?
I did not. But I tell you, again, I'm going to pull the old 8-11 out. Call before you dig. They dug in and fought back, man.
I'm going to give credit to 57, C.J. Taylor, a defensive lineman, on that pressure. So he'll get that. So we're at the half, 24-22 in favor of the visiting Midstate Bison. They come in 3-0 in the young season. The homestanding Cardinals, this is their home opener here at Lakeshore High School at the Lakeshore Coliseum. They are 1-1 after they got the victory on a forfeit win last week, and they lost a close ball game, which was not the best turn of events to open a season in any league.
Well, they were playing a really tough team. I mean, the Magnolia State Knights, again, I keep using this word, but they're one of those stalwarts of the minor league system. They've been around for a very long time. I faced them back in 2017, and they had been around before then. Rilo Beckham is one of the old school owners and representatives of semi-pro or minor league football. They're always competitive, and they play with a little bit of a rough edge.
Okay,
it's probably putting it mildly. But very talented team.
Well, you look at this ball game, it could have gotten a little lopsided when the Bison started clicking and Moore was finding everybody he wanted, just enough rushing game to keep the defense honest. And I thought they were at a position where they could have maybe gotten another score and made this a long night for the Cardinals. But to their credit, they fought back. They only trailed by 2. When I look at the score, though, and they only trail by 2, we talked about the woes with the kicking game, the lack of health, the retirement of the one player.
Yeah.
J.P. Furman, who starred here, soccer, what a godsend when you were getting up in your career, and they brought him on. And that happens more often than not when you've got high school soccer players that are working out when football teams are there, and walk-on kicker.
Val Schaff. Remember
Yes.
Val Schaff?
Val
Can't
Schaff,
forget our boy
out
Val.
of nowhere, another soccer player.
Another great teammate.
Was playing
talented
on
guy.
Olympian professional development team.
Yeah.
But when you've got Furman up around the Baltimore area there, who's trying to get a pro day look, and then the injury, and not only that, who's snapping? Who's your holder? We're doing a little photography here in the booth, so I guess I can multitask, and get in a picture here. So that's good. We don't get a countdown. We don't get a 1, 2, 3. Then we get thumbs up. Yeah. Miss Naomi says you look great over there.
Naomi tells you look great.
Yeah,
you
you got to look great, even though she's not a good liar. She's a tremendous singer, but I don't know.
Her truth's as beautiful as her voice.
Yeah, I still say she's a 10+, and I don't know about Garen. Garen must have went out on a hunt or something. He had a talent agent. He'll tell me he had a talent agent. She's a great catch. They got beautiful kids who are getting bigger by the day. So the Cardinals trail 24-22 here at the halftime. So do we get a talent fee for the photo we just took?
I don't know. But I tell you what, I want to give a fee to both of these teams for doing something that you don't see a whole lot of in this type of football, and that is both teams have exhibited, I would say, above par discipline.
Great demeanor, great discipline.
Yeah, gamesmanship.
And that hasn't
both
always
programmatically and as individuals.
That hasn't always been the case. Now, this is the second year that the Cardinals are in the Next Level Football Alliance. So last year they go to the championship game. They get beat 20-0 on the road. I mentioned the offensive lineman struggles. That was the difference of the game. Epperson had probably his worst game as a Cardinal. During the season, all the offensive stats, 20 TDs, thousands of yards, and he just didn't have the time. The timing of the routes was off. Hard place to play there in Jackson. But now they come in after the 9-3 season. We mentioned at the opening 54-17 since 2017. So Blaine Bond was the head coach initially.
Yeah.
And so in that year 17, so he steps down after a couple, comes back last year. Now he's director of operations. So you can kind of see the chemistry of what this team has. And for them to keep their cool the way they have in this first half, and the opponents, the statement I was looking for, and I'll find it here, from the head coach, Nick Blackman, from the visiting Midstate Demons. He has some philosophies about what kind of team he wants to have. And at the top of what he wants is he wants discipline. And they've shown that.
They really have. And, I'm going to give you one of my axiomatic moments to say that you see a lot of these struggles early in the season, unlike the professionals who do it for a living. These individuals have jobs, and these jobs vary. Some are much more physically intensive compared to others, or mentally intensive. And you'll notice that early parts of the season, at least with the Cardinals, it's always been a struggle at the very beginning. My time playing with them, I remember we always kind of started off week one slow. We won, but the score was not very decisive. And then week two, we really turned it on. But then you see this degradation of effort and energy towards the end. And I attribute a lot of that to this not being what they do for a living, that they've got these other things that they have to do.
We talked about the 39-year-old quarterback for the visiting Bison, and he's got a job, and he works at the paper mill in Vicksburg, Mississippi.
Exactly. Yeah.
And so that's what, many guys have worked as chefs. We mentioned Jervius Efferson. He's a truck driver. Guys work cell phone companies. They got full-time jobs. So the teams try to practice twice a week. What's the turnout going to be? Well, if you're working your day job and it's 5:30, 6 o'clock, and you're working in New Orleans, and you want to come to practice, but something comes up at your job, well, that's your livelihood. That's your job. You don't get paid to play this league. Now, let's talk about some of the players. You've got an Xavier Chapman, 2014 graduate here at Lakeshore High School. He wants to play at the next level, be it the USFL, wherever. And so they get looks. There's videography, there's film of these, but you want to be with a good league. You want to be with a good team. So there are goals, but when you reach 27, 28, 30, you've got to make that move. Because when you're at that age, unless you're a blistering 4.3 40, or you sack, you get 8 sacks a game, your time, the window is short. So not all these guys think they're going to play at the next level, but for some of the younger ones, look at a Rondé White coming out of high school.
Right.
Okay, he was a good high school quarterback. Senior year, they got in a transfer, so he played wide receiver just up the road, not 8 miles from here. So right out of high school, he joins a team. The mentors, though, you were a mentor, former military. I mentioned Abe Dawson. Salmon Spartan, 2003 graduate, still last year at age 40 playing here. Linebacker in high school, linebacker with the Cardinals, got a little slower step, so he plays defense, played offensive line, as I said, in the championship game last year. Well, he's a firefighter out of East Baton Rouge, family guy, got, I think, 3 children. So you got the day job, and he just hung it up because he couldn't work his job in East Baton Rouge, come to practice twice a week. But the point I'm trying to make is, so he left the Cardinals last year, retired from minor league football. He's coaching defensive line over at Archbishop Hannon High School. Former defensive coordinator Don Kelly for the Cardinals last year is a defensive coordinator for the Hawks.
My role with the Cardinals was a segue to 4 years of coaching with the Gulfport Admirals. So yeah, there is this ascension that a lot of these players enjoy if they don't go on to play at the next level. So there's either a coaching side or they go to the next level to play as a player at a higher level. But
I think probably the hardest point, correct me if I'm wrong, as a seasoned athlete, you go through the prep, recreational, you go through high school. If you're lucky enough to go to college and play in college, and if you were good at your craft, whether you were a special teamer, place kicker, punter, it doesn't matter. But when you can come out here on a Saturday night and still have a love and a passion for the game, and as I think we were alluding to, play it the right way. I don't care if you lose 40-0.
Right.
There's a sportsmanship. Who's going to be your cheerleader on the sideline? You need guys like that.
Yeah,
you need the veteran preference at whatever level. Now, you were in the Army. How long were you active here?
7 years.
All right, 7 years. Comes close to my 30, but that's okay. But so you had a connection back in your playing time. There were a lot more Cardinal team members that were prior military. Right. And I think the organization, there was a figure 30%.
I can never pronounce his last name, but even one of them was a fellow member of the 82nd Airborne.
Okay.
So,
and I remember the Viking, Garrett Scheckschneider.
Yeah, I can never say his last name.
Well, so Garrett is coaching over at Laranja with the Wildcats. He hung it up at age 32 last year, but he's a guy that in his playing time might have been 377. Then he didn't play. Then he was over 4. So I got to know his sister, who took pictures for the Cardinals, and he was a great guy. You saw him come. He was called the Viking because he had the beard, kind of off-red beard.
He was
short, stocky.
Yeah.
So my thing when he was playing, okay, so you're 370 plus, yeah. So when he retired last year, I saw him at a game here and at the championship game. He said, I'm going a little over 400. But so I think he might have been doing some powerlifting with the Laranja coaching and stuff.
Coach.
Yeah. And so those guys are community figures. I know blood drives are big for the Cardinals, but there's a lot of things that these guys do for community service. Now, when I was doing a live TV streaming with BBT Digital, it was called Mike's Corner. We did that for a couple years.
Oh, that was amazing.
Yeah, and when thanks to COVID, that was the downfall.
Very grateful that I got to participate on an episode. That was such an honor.
And you guys, out of that year, we had a trophy made that we were going to rotate every week. So we did the show on a Thursday. And so out of all the high schools we had, the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals were the only non-high school team that I invited to come on.
By far the most complete enjoyable season I've ever had in my life in minor league football. And that was just one aspect of it. But the level of talent that we had, the group dynamics that we enjoyed, the culture, it was just that was a run of runs. And, and I knew it was special that year. And I want to really harp on this year. The night we played over in New Orleans at the old Berman Stadium, and we got stuck outside the stadium waiting for a soccer game to end. So we were in this field. And I remember Pig Griffin leading the team down this residential street.
Yeah.
You've been to Berman.
Yes.
And there's all that Spanish moss hanging. And the pictures people were getting, it would have been something that somebody could have painted a canvas of, just seeing that team walk down the street holding hands, marching in that stadium. The team we played that night, the Crescent City Rampage, had no idea what they had coming towards us.
Okay.
We were pretty upset that we got stuck in this field waiting for the soccer game to end. And by the time we got to that field, man, we were ready to drink some blood, and we went on to win 44-6. Everybody got in the act, but that season in general was probably the most special. And unfortunately for me personally, it ended on a sour note, hitting the left upright against Crescent City Kings. We mentioned this earlier.
Yes.
Why they're my nemesis.
Yes.
With a minute left to go in the game, that field goal post we're looking right here in the west side end zone, left upright, boing, and it was over.
There's probably no worse feeling for a place kicker at any level in a close ball game to doink one off of anything, the crossbar, the upright.
Yeah, it was coming off my best season and that I'd ever had, and I had a teammate by the name of Donald Gonzalez, who was our primary kicker. Him and I bonded like family.
Yeah.
If you remember, we did the show.
We did.
I had mentioned Donald quite a bit. He was not able to make it that night, but it's like I said, having him with me as a partner just made that experience. And Garen let us have our identities, within limits,
within
obviously.
reason. Yeah.
And, obviously playing for Garen was one of the things that I liked about playing for Garen. And again, that season, all of that came together. But yeah, it sure ended on a sour note. We could not beat the Kings. We lost to them twice. Now, the previous week we had played them, and I actually hit the game tying kick, but we went on to lose anyway.
Well, the nemesis for the Cardinals, I mentioned it pregame. This team first started in 17, 54-17. They've got 3 9-win seasons, 9-3, 9-3, 9-2. But the playoffs have been this team's nemesis.
Yeah.
You don't win playoff games.
Yeah, it's true.
And now, last year, first-year head coach, Lane Bond is back. And so he kind of rejuvenated some things. And then you make it to the championship game. But in any athlete at any level, it's not a great season unless you win the big one.
Yeah.
If you lose the championship game, it doesn't matter that you finished 9-3 and that you won your league, your division title, but you didn't bring home the trophy.
But even so, that notwithstanding, I want to make it clear to our listeners, there's no other team, and I'm not just saying this because of my alum with this team. There's been no other experience in the world of minor league football that's been like the Cardinals. And I'm talking about chartered buses with cable television on them. Most teams, they have to drive to these locations, and sometimes they're hours.
Yeah.
The amount of care, the amount of guidance and mentoring, the connecting them to the technical college, local technical college. I don't know any other team that does these things.
Well, that's what I know from a standpoint of being involved with the Cardinals, that they are about community service. And you mentioned North Shore Community Technical College. That's kind of the Coast Guard. I mean, last year they had a flyby with the Coast Guard. Where in minor league football would you see that? So they're trying to get the community involved. I don't know what the stats are, but I think one person had joined the Coast Guard. So that's good for the Coast Guard to still be involved. The sponsorships, the donations that they need, because you just can't put 40 players on a bus and drive 4 hours to Alexandria to play, or to Memphis or wherever, and not have associated costs. And I know that the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals are only one or maybe a few that their players do not pay to be in the league.
Right.
The team, the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals, pay their team fees to be on this team. And uniforms,
very
equipment.
Reflective of the community support of this team, because they fund these activities. And yeah.
We would always hope that we can get more fans, but sometimes Saturday nights are not always conducive. The fact that these leagues play their games, minor league football, when they do, is for this reason alone, to have access to either a high school full field or a field of size in your local community. It doesn't conflict with anything. You don't have to worry about the football team being home, track and field, and nobody would be able to go because everybody's going to watch the student athletes in high school or junior high. So this is a great fit here at Lakeshore High School.
And I love it because so many of us come from football families. I mean, my son played at Minnesota State. My father briefly played at LSU. And I played football in Texas. To be able to continue that tradition, and as I would imagine many others have gotten to do. It's a real blessing, and it's a real shout out to Garen Narcisse and the rest of his staff for making that possible.
Well, Garen was one of the 3 founding fathers. It was him, Blaine Bond, and I want to say, I'm going to guess, going to limb, Art Powell, I thought.
I believe you're right.
So those
came
3
shortly after, but
those 3 had a vision in 2016, formulated the vision, and then the first year was 2017. And again, to come into a new league and go 6-2 and not have a losing record. The COVID was closest because they only played 2 games. They were 1-1. But that starts. So when Garen was the executive director, and then he dabbled as a head coach, he dabbled as a defensive coordinator, and something that amazed me, it's been a couple years ago, and he just walked into the booth. But a couple years ago, he had some kind of anniversary that semi got in the way, but he got it approved early on. Was it like a 10-year anniversary maybe? So it's a 10-year anniversary. His lovely wife, Naomi, wants to go. They want to go to Puerto Rico or something. And so, I don't know. I guess as the head coach, executive director / defensive coordinator, you got to plan those things. But he pulled it off.
But let me, before we get started the second half, let me give him a little bit more love. That was the night I actually hit the upright.
Okay.
He left. He called me when he was in Puerto Rico. What a guy.
Yeah, what a guy.
Loves his players. He actually called me after that kick, after that game. We actually spoke. The guy is on his vacation, his anniversary vacation with his wife, and he calls a player to talk to him.
But I wonder who reminded him way ahead of time that it was his upcoming 10th anniversary.
Yeah, even for a pain in the butt like me, he still showed love.
Well, we got a ball game here. It's 24-22. Cardinals fought their way back in. And, there's a couple plays early on. The safety early on, and then a couple turnovers that this could have gotten out of hand either way early on. But I think the key to this third quarter and this second half is going to be having to get pressure on the quarterback.
Well, we know the defense is playing better now. We know the offense has found itself. And if that one special teams miscue is the only thing we have happen on that side of the ball tonight, I'll take it.
Yeah.
Because by and large, they've tightened that up too. It doesn't have to be pretty. It just has to be effective.
Not pretty, but effective. So let's see if there's a little more of a pep in their step, too, as far as the Cardinals go, because they got pretty mundane there when they went down by the big margin, but they fought back. Now, this is where when you defer to open a ball game, it benefits you because you're going to get the second half kickoff. So it'll probably be Rondé White out there again. I doubt that he's ever kicked before in his life. I don't know if it was process of elimination. We got to find somebody. We've chronicled the lack of kicking and punting folks in the team. But
maybe we can get Elon down here to install some AI coaching for kicking. Okay, not so funny.
You said the big E word. We only went to a half of a game, and you waited until the end. Here's the kick. Addresses the ball. This will be another short one. Good speed going around the left side. Good tackle far side of the field. That's another thing, though. You got to work out something else. You can't be giving them the ball on your side of the field after a kickoff.
Well, if the defense continues to bend but not break, that maybe that's as good as it gets. Like I said, as Coach Narcisse used to say, good things will happen, bad things will happen.
Ladies and gentlemen, in that defense is
so now look, Rondé White, who had the opening kickoff. Not sure if he's going to. He looks like he's going to be in the secondary. That's another thing they're not sure. He's out here at about the 40-yard line, and he is going to be out there. So, looked like he wasn't sure. So excellent field position after that little pooch. I'm like you first. I line drive that ball. I line drive it. And if it hits somebody, fine. If it doesn't, it might go
toe
through.
punch it.
Yeah. First
Maximum
down
velocity.
on the 45. Handoff over the left side. Oh, good penetration. Nice stop.
Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright.
Stephen Wright is the guy on the defensive side that is going to stand out for the Cardinals.
Yeah, and I hope he understands that, this team looks to him, not just for his ability to change the outcome of a game, but also to change the outcome of our, internal tempo, the culture of this team.
When
He's
you
got
see
that
him
capability.
before a ball game starts getting loose, you say, that man's a player. He's a man.
I can't. I'm running out of superlatives on how to describe him.
That's because you watched Jeopardy yesterday. Shotgun formation are the Bison. 2nd and 10 after no gain on first down. Man in motion from right to high snap. Keeper.
Good play.
Man, he's doing it all. He sees something there. 30. Quarterback keeper makes a cut. 25, 20. They can't bring him down. They can't catch up to the 39-year-old.
Oh, wow. Send that man a Social Security check for 39. That was a heck of a run.
That's Adrian Moore, senior. He told me at the beginning of the game, he said it kind of with a shy smile and grin. I said, you're not going to be running to run. And he kind of like to get out of pressure. But that was a designated quarterback run. Put a man in motion right to the left, and they didn't slow him down at all.
Well, I can tell you, I'm a fan.
Oh, yeah, me too.
He's definitely earned my respect.
Me too. Shotgun where he's been all night other than for a 2-point conversion. Handoff number 7, left side gaping hole. Stephen Wright couldn't get in there.
Boy, James Perkins just took off on
Whoa.
That is Darren Sproles, baby.
That is a back-breaking touchdown. That's James Perkins on the run over the left side. We'll call it 18 yards. So the Bison, with courtesy of Moore and Perkins, 2 plays to go 45 yards. And
the Bison obviously recognized the fortitude of the Cardinals towards the end of the half, and they're really coming out fighting. They really want to stick it to them.
It all started with the excellent field position, but that's just the problem.
Yeah. But I still believe that the Cardinals can withstand that liability if they just get a little more pep in their step. They didn't seem very coordinated at all on that drive.
No, defensively they weren't. So now 2-point conversion. All the time in the world. Moore will survey the situation. Drop back. Pressure. Turns into pressure.
Wow.
Escapes. Trips down. That was good pressure both left and right side. Yeah. Manuel Doyle made an excellent rush on the play, and then he got some other help. I think that might have been 57, C.J. Taylor, that was in also. Moore reversed his route, and they had both ends, right and left. That's a big stop. It keeps it at an 8-point ball game.
Oh, Manny Doyle, the gentleman scholar, the chemistry major.
He'd probably do a better job on Jeopardy than you or I would do, right? Huh?
It'd be a close. I think it'd be a close match.
So let's see who's going to go back for the kickoff. So the kicker for the Bison has had a good night. His last one did not go near the end zone, but he had 2 touchbacks in that first half. That's number 13, Kelvin Gardner. So he places the ball in the tee. Cardinals set up deep. Number 7 should be Marcus Conley to the near side of the field at the 10-yard line.
Red shirt.
So there is the kick into the end zone. Yeah, Gardner, he's got a good leg.
He really does.
I think the other one in between was a fluke that he didn't kick it deep.
I think he was being humble. I think he's a far more trained specialist than he leads on. That was beautiful for him.
Yep, no doubt. See if the Cardinals can have an answer. So you and I at half were talking about Gary Schexnayder. Did I just hear Garen say that he was in the area? I have to get him to come up here and chat. Yeah, there he is. Can't miss him.
Hey, Gary, you're getting paged to the press box.
So let's see what the Cardinals can do here to start the third quarter in their first possession after giving up that opening third quarter touchdown. So Cardinals trail by 8, 13-42 to go here in the third quarter. Cardinals break the huddle. Their passing game came alive there in the second quarter. They trail 8. Ball in the 25-yard line after the touchback. Straight drop is Efferson looking upfield. Home run type ball. Oh, wide receiver was cut at his route, but he threw into triple coverage.
Risky throw.
Yeah. Should not have made that throw.
No.
Falls harmlessly incomplete to the turf. Xavier Chapman was hurt on the play. We were speaking about Garrett Schexnayder, the Viking, and lo and behold, he's in the stands, and that's what you're doing. You're doing local live streaming on Flying Ghost Productions. I just get the executive director, Gary Narcisse, former head coach, former defensive coordinator. I heard him saying that the Viking is in the stands. We got the Viking here. Welcome, buddy.
Hey, how you doing, Mike?
I'm doing good. You still with Laranja High School?
Yes, sir.
Coaching football and powerlifting?
Football, powerlifting, and track.
You look like you could still be powerlifting if you cut your beard.
Maybe so.
Maybe? Okay. We're going to catch up on the play. Here's the snap. Running play. Good play over this left side. Nice speed. Breaking through tackles. Run out of bounds. But a big gain. I tell you what, Jeremy Pitt Griffin, he looked good on that run.
Yeah, I mean, I tell you what. The O-line, the offenses look good since I got here.
They have looked good. They have looked good. Lance and I were talking about the game last year where a lot of guys had to play both ways in the championship game and whatnot, how tough it is. But E.J. Walls was telling me he likes this offensive line group that he's got this year. Yeah. And they have opened some good holes. Pig Griffin has looked good, but I've said since year one that I've been involved with the team, they got to hit Pig out of the backfield on some little screens.
I agree.
Get him a step and get him out there.
Yeah, he's a good playmaker. You give him the ball in space, give him that opportunity.
So how'd you guys do powerlifting this year?
We did good. I had 6 kids total go to state. One placed second place, and one boy and one girl placed third.
We had Covington High that hosted it this year. John Burford, who's known nationals and world, just a tremendous guy.
He's actually the president of the Powerlifting Association now.
Yeah. So Covington hosted it this year. It was successful, so you get a 2-year contract. I said, what does it take to put it on and be successful? He said about 250 knowledgeable volunteers.
That's about right.
Is that all?
Yeah. We hosted our first powerlifting meet this year too. It's a lot of work, but it's rewarding. The kids enjoy it. It's a good opportunity.
So the Cardinals are trailing 30-22, 12:04 left in the third quarter. They are going from right to left. Straight drop is Efferson going to the far side. Caught for a short completion. All right, so you're not playing anymore. You had to hang it up 32, right?
Yes, sir.
So you hang it up at 32. So what's your non-playing weight today here at Lakeshore High School?
About 385.
385?
Yeah.
So you're still drinking them not fancy drinks and not,
my diet's gotten a little better lately. After getting hurt last year, I kind of I wasn't able to lift weights and work out very much. So,
well, I was going to say you were 400, but I'll take 385 all day long. Cardinals 3rd and 5, big down, big yardage on their own 49-yard line, going right to left. Efferson's straight drop, little pressure, gets rid of it, gets hit as he throws. It's caught for a first down at the far side of the field.
First down.
Viking, I wanted to say thanks for coming up. Great seeing you. Good luck over at Laranja. I know that's a good school, but you just lost Sammy Messina recently, didn't you? The head football coach?
Yes, sir. He went back to Independence.
Okay. Yeah. Well, you leave one to go to the other.
Yeah.
Well, look, best of luck to you and the guys over there, and good luck in your retirement years.
All right, my guy.
So be 385 and be healthy.
Sounds good.
Tell your sister, the photographer, I said hello.
I will.
All right. So big first down pickup by the Cardinals. Former team member, the Viking, Garrett Schexnayder, watching the ball game and was gracious enough to come up here because he was paged by his former head coach and the executive director.
What a treat.
He came right up.
What a treat.
Yep. Great guy. Great guy. Snap. Straight drop. Pressure. Man. Ooh, he ran out of a sack. Man, I don't know if he had ESPN or not, but that guy was coming around the left side and he just whirled around going the other way.
Shades of Drew Brees and being able to read what's behind your head, know what's coming.
He felt something.
Yeah,
and he got a little push in the shoulder blades from his lineman.
Where Jerb lacks, being fleet of foot, he is superior instincts.
Yeah, heady player. Big completion, bring up 2nd and 4. 30-22, the Cardinals trail. They are on the move. First possession of the third quarter for them after giving up points to the Bison on their first drive to start the third. 2 players in the backfield. There's movement. That's going to be illegal procedure. Well, if it means anything, the 2 receivers for the Cardinals on this left side of the formation both broke. And one of the backs moved too. So.
And you can call me crazy, but I get this vibe. The Cardinals are really feeling themselves right now. I mean, I look at head coach E.J. Walsh. He's smiling. He's talking to his players. They're not worried right now. It would seem to me that they know scoring is imminent, that they're going to be back in this game, that they're going to compete in this game. They're putting out really good energy. I really have a good feeling this team's about to get this game, brought back even.
The problem with that play, though, is you gain on your first down, and then that moves you back, so it's 2nd and 9. You're behind the sticks. 2 receivers to the near side, 1 to the far. It's a little different look in the backfield now. They got 1 guy back in the pistol behind Efferson and 1 to his right. Bobbled snap. I'm not sure what that play was.
I think that was a busted play.
It had to be a busted play because you're not going to run your star quarterback on a quarterback keeper.
Yeah, and just based on the language between Six and Pig Griffin, it would seem like there was a miscommunication on an assignment.
Well, they had a miscommunication on the 2nd down snap that caused the 5-yard penalty. So Efferson runs it back to the line of scrimmage, bring down 3rd and 9. And you don't want to squander this field position because you're in an excellent position on their 45. Try to pick up something and see if you can be manageable in 4th if you don't get it.
Well, and Xavier Chapman's back in the game. So,
mistake here, too. Jared Jackson was going to the right, and he comes to this other side. So you got 2 Jacksons on the same side of the field. One's an action Austin Jackson, and the other one is a Jared Jackson. I guess he can be AJ and JJ. Got another penalty?
Oh, you could say 11 minus 3 is 8. Oh, that wasn't as catchy.
But it was quick. It wasn't catchy, but it was quick. Making it a little tougher on the penalties here. 3rd and 14. Snap. Good protection. Now he rolls a little bit. Looking upfield, going to throw across his body, gets it over, comeback route, not the way.
I was about to say
flag. I was going to say
it was all over his back.
He beat the ball there, and he went through the receiver. That is a really big penalty. Kind of an obvious penalty, but because I thought he was breaking on the ball. He needed to go around the receiver, though, not through him, because he closed.
Significant contact to the back of the receiver. That's going to draw a flag every time.
Big play. Big pickup on 1st down.
I'm continue to just be amazed at how well the protection's been, all things considered.
We got 2 old dudes at quarterback. You got Jerv, who's 33, and you got Adrian Moore, who's 39.
Right.
They're performing like they're 21-year-olds out there. Good vision, know when to move, know when to step up in the pocket, generally going to the right receiver. Jervis thrown a couple tonight, maybe he shouldn't have thrown, but that was a good pickup there. Receiver was open. You get the 1st down on the penalty. 7:30 to go.
And it was thrown into man coverage, which is ideal.
Yeah, single coverage. He might have let it go a little too late, but he was open. Shotgun formation, 1st and 10, ball on the 34-yard line. Straight drop is Efferson. Looking upfield, far side. Caught, breaks out of a tackle, 30, 20.
Great play. That's going to be a
run out of bounds.
They're playing way off the ball. And, if they keep doing that, the Cardinals are just going to keep running at those hitches all night long.
Well, Campagna, he's been getting open. He's been wide open. Yeah. And other than the one he dropped in the end zone in the first half here, that's got a 1-2-3 combination between Chapman, Austin, and Campagna.
When I was just about to say he's making us forget that drop with each successive
Right,
catch.
he has. 1st and 10. Good-looking drive by the Cardinals trying to answer the Bisons score. Shotgun, 2 backs, 1 directly behind Efferson, 1 to his right. 1 receiver far, 2 to the near. Running play up the gut. Nice move. Cutting in and out of space. That's Pig Griffin, boy. We were talking earlier, and I said I wanted to see a breakout game from Pig Griffin, and this is one of the best games I've seen him have. I mean,
he was not going to be denied.
Good blocking up the middle, designed to go up the middle. He broke the tackle, the containment, then cut it to the right side, good speed, and just waltzed into the end zone. Very good-looking play, good offensive blocking on this left side, and gets him back in the ball game. Just 2-point conversion success away from tying this one up at 30 apiece.
Yep, and that counts as a Cypress Fabrication Services touchdown. Let's hope they can fabricate a 2-point conversion.
Now let's see if they can fabricate a 2-point conversion to knot it up. 6:24 to go here in the third quarter. We couldn't have written a better script for this one. Xavier Chapman, the X factor, is the lone guy to the far side. Single coverage, 1 receiver to this left side. Full house backfield. Waiting for the snap. Turn. Handoff. Trying to cut up the middle. Fighting over the middle. Fighting hard. No good. He must have been stopped just shy. Fought hard to get in, but stopped just shy. So that's where we stand, 30-28 in favor of the visiting Bison. That was a nice touchdown to answer the third quarter opening series drive, kind of uncontested by the defense, quite honestly, for the Cardinals. So now the big play will be how deep can you get the kickoff, and can the defense forget about what happened on that first series in the third quarter, because they look non-existent.
Well, it's like I was saying earlier, the Cardinals do not appear like they're that worried. And
You're right. Their body language
the offense, the confidence in that offense that they know they can go down there and match this team score for score, it bodes well.
But I don't want to continue to be in a shootout with Adrian Moore.
Well, and especially since we don't have our boy JP here to kick for us.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, without the kicking game, that's another big 2-point conversion.
It's funny I bring him up. He just texted me.
Did he?
He's listening to the broadcast. So, JP, we miss you, man. If you're listening, we miss you.
Tell him he needs to send us a text, not just be listening. All right, if you're listening, JP, text your mentor. Give Lance something to say. Oh, yeah, tremendous guy. Knew him when he was here at Lakeshore High School. Quite the athlete. Kind of a walk-on kicker from high school soccer to minor league football.
We got so lucky with him and Val. They were so much fun to be around.
Is Val still playing soccer?
I believe
he
is.
Elite level?
I believe he is.
All right, here's the kickoff by Rondé White. A little pooch, a bouncer. Could be trouble. Oh, nice special teams play. Cardinals were a little late getting there, but see, that's all the communication of where you're going to kick it. What marker you're going to go to the hash? Are you going to go deep? Because maybe the speed guys on this end, but that was another good defense, good special teams play.
Those plays made me want to open up the window and just scream, shout out Rondé on that one. That was pretty good.
The fallout though is second. It's on. Once they put it down, it's on their own 47-yard line, but still excellent field position. But that was about the closest they've come to recovering.
He needed one more bounce.
Yes, he did.
Had it.
Needed that high NFL bounce straight up. Carry over the left side. Defense a little fired up there on the first down play. Hold them to 2.
Doolin, he runs a lot like Travis Henry. The big thighs, stocky upper body. I would not want to meet that guy.
No,
inside the trenches.
2nd and 8, snap. Keeper by Moore. They bottle him up. He spins and gets a yard or 2. That's good defense there. Is that Emmanuel Doyle? Emmanuel Doyle, Edna Carr firing up his defensive teammates. Moore did fall forward for about a 2-yard gain. Bring up a key 3rd down. Excellent field position on the 49 of the Cardinals. 3rd, we'll call it 6. 2 2-yard plays. Drop back, short route, open route, number 4, good catch, first down, good short, safe route. And that's been his pretty much go-to receiver, Drevius Luckett. So short completion, but enough for the first down to move the sticks. Clock is running here in the third quarter, 5:05 to go. First down, trips to the near, one to the far, one running back to the left of Moore. Handoff over the left side. Good run up ahead. Falls forward. Nice gain on first down. You stay ahead of the sticks with that one.
Oh, and they really got to stay ahead of – they got to get a stop here because not getting that 2-point conversion removes the tit-for-tat thing. It's going to make it a little bit more difficult.
So shotgun is Moore. They lead 30-28, 4:25 remaining in the third. Player in motion from left to right in the backfield. Keeper by Moore all the way. Cuts up. Cuts out, getting blocking upfield, cuts outside the 30, 25, 20, runs out. Oh, that's got to be a flag. That's got to be a flag. He was hit way out of bounds, and Moore on this near sideline with 2 feet onto the Lakeshore High track probably didn't like that. Well, I don't know if they're calling that or out here, but he was hit out of bounds, clearly out of bounds, hit in the middle of his back. See what the call is. It will be, I think, against the Bison. Yeah, Moore, he got a little dinged up there at the end.
It's funny watching E.J. Walls talk to Adrian Moore. I don't think the guy can resist being around quarterbacks. The guy just loves the position.
Yeah.
His enthusiasm is palpable.
Let's see, still haven't marked off the penalty. They are talking to Moore as he heads back to his huddle. See what the mark-offs can be. I don't know. Ball's at the 44-yard line. I didn't see a mark-off. Did you?
It looks like were we playing the down, maybe offsetting penalties?
Looked like it must be offsetting.
That's what it had to be. Had to be offsetting. Because clearly, I didn't see the flag upfield, but the flag here hitting the quarterback out of bounds, defenseless. Sets up 2nd and 3. Moore, handoff. Good defense at the interior. Tell you what, Moore is a good runner, too, because he can get out of space.
Yeah.
And he makes his cut at the right time.
I don't think that's a first down. Let's see how they mark it. It's going to be close.
He's short. I think he's short. See, once they...
But, it stands to reason that the Bison are going to go for it. And it looks like they are.
Yeah.
Get that ball to Delaney right up.
Ball is at the 32-yard line. 3rd and short. Call it a yard. Quarterback Moore, I figured he'd be the keeper. Over the left side. And then mixing it up, too. They're going right side, left side.
They run him right at Stephen Wright at this point. It's they have a lot of confidence in their O-line.
Well, we talked about it at the outset. The offensive line for the Bison early on in the first quarter, they were wearing down, and they had the number of the Cardinals' defense. But the defense on this stand, the interior D, it's been pretty good. 1st and 10 after the 3rd and 1 pickup by Moore. One receiver near, trips to the far, shotgun. Quick pitch to the far side, caught, heading upfield, good cut inside. Going to be near another first down.
14-yard line. Bison on move.
Far side of the field. We'll try to get some of the defensive players on these stops in for the Cardinals. But this is a big series of downs.
Yeah, and I got to say that the Cardinals need to play a little bit more press coverage. They're throwing mostly short to less than intermediate routes.
2nd and 1. Moore.
But they're giving them that space, and they're taking it every time.
Handoff over the left side. Ooh, good defensive stop.
Defensive play.
Flow to the football, making the stop.
It's like Rondé White.
Corey Turner.
Oh,
Corey Turner.
Yeah,
on the stop.
Yeah, former University of Louisiana.
Cole, former ULL.
Ray John K. Jones.
Ray John Cajun. 1:50 clock is rolling here in the third quarter. 2-point ball game, 30-28 in favor of the Bison. 3rd and 2. Another key play. Corey Turner got the big stop for a yard loss. In motion from left to right. Moore, keeper, goes up the left side. Man, he's just patient, big, runs to sight. He just looks really good.
Bison offense. Oh, we got a flag. Yeah,
See what the flag is?
Extracurricular activities.
He did pick up the first down going over the left side.
I was just getting ready to say that Bison O-line they're finishing their blocks.
See what the call is going to be. The ball is moved down closer to the goal line. Yeah. Knocking at the doorstep now are the Bison. Trips to the near, one to the far. Running back to the left of Moore. The 39-year-old youngster turns 40 in October. Snap. Calls his own number off the right side. He just walks in. Touchdown. To look so good up here for 2 or 3 plays and put him in short yardage situation, then just go non-existent for the remaining 2 first downs was not a good sight.
Yeah, I'm going to go on a limb and say that Adrian Moore and Michael Dulaney need to buy the offensive line dinner tonight.
Yeah.
I think they owe them
or at least burger and fries.
Something.
Steak.
Something for the ride home.
Yeah.
They really put in work tonight.
He's in the shotgun, 36-28. Hands off right up the gut. Looks like they may have stopped his forward progress. Tell you what, both defenses have been pretty solid on the 2-point conversion attempts.
And go ahead.
The ones that have gone in have barely gotten in.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that the Bison can rotate these backs out and they all know the scheme and they run it to perfection. There's no drop off. A lot of times in minor league football, you'll have a primary back who knows all the plays, all the nuances of that play. And then you got backups that don't get as many reps and they're not as well versed and they make mistakes. Well, in the case of the Bison, they bring anyone in, running back by committee, and they all know where to be, and they're in the right place at every time. They hit the right hole.
And their top receiver tonight in the ball game has been number 4, Drevius Luckett, but Moore has gone to others. But I just like the way Moore handles himself.
He just walked over to the sideline and shook hands with Emmanuel Dole.
He's spontaneous.
Yeah.
He's never rushed. He's patient. He's picked out the right receivers, and he's been the difference of the ball game with his legs.
And
I didn't think he was going to do that.
And he's cognizant of the class and the leadership that he has the opportunity to exude to his teammates. He leads by example.
So there's Pig Griffin going back. He'll set up at about the 38-yard line for any potential pooch kick. But with this kicker, he's 3 out of 4, I think, going deep, 4 out of 5. Yeah, Gardner has done the job.
I don't want them scoring that much, but he's been a joy to watch tonight.
Yeah, he kicks a low bounder over the head of the Marcus Connolly from Franklinton High. Tries to cut outside of a block. He does, but they got too many Bison there. What do you call a group of Bison?
You tell me at the herd.
The what?
The herd.
The herd. Okay.
Yeah.
But
so we have the nest, they have the herd.
Okay, but there was only 3 of the nests there of the herd. The nest was not blocking very well because there was 3 of them.
But they all stayed in their lanes.
They did.
And they converged.
Yeah.
Cardinals could probably take something from that example.
Yeah, that'd be a good teaching moment for special teams play.
Could it be that, the Bison might work on that during the week?
Yeah.
Well, if I found out they did, I would really be impressed.
This is a must-have drive for the Cardinals because you're down by 8, but you can't not score points and not be able to not stop them.
Very, very within reach.
Oh, yeah.
This game is definitely not.
But this is probably getting late in the third with 52 seconds left. Keep possession of the ball game. Just don't want to see Efferson force anything. Straight drop. Good route. Austin Jackson. Action Jackson, short catch. I like to see 3-4 yard passes. It sets up the other stuff. See, but that's the deal. You got Jackson, Austin Jackson, and Chapman on the same side. And Chapman's the deep threat, but I don't know why they don't go over the middle more.
Right.
It's all these deep, pump and go. And
Well, I'm sitting here thinking about all of our nicknames tonight. Why are we not getting royalties? We got Viking, we've got the Herd, we've got the Nest,
Yeah.
we've got Action Jackson.
We didn't get the talent fee yet, but
Yeah,
we're working on that.
We're building a catalog.
We're working on that. Mike Purvell and Lance Foster, former member of the Cardinals, place kicker with the Cardinals, former Army guy of 7 years. There's another catch by Austin Action Jackson right over the middle. Seeing what that does is when you've got Jackson running great routes, and that's why that's a completion. He ran 2 really good routes, crisp routes, right where he should have been. Everson is on time getting the ball, and you haven't heard from Chapman in a while, and that's when maybe the secondary sloughs off a little bit and you pump and go.
That's true, yeah. Running Griffin softened him up a little bit.
We're at the start of the fourth and final quarter. Been a good one at this point, lots of points. I don't know if anybody would have bet an over or an under, but if anybody went with any type of under, they've lost.
Kind of like the stock market this week. Oh, boy.
Man, I don't talk SM. You're not supposed to say stock market in public. For anybody that's got anything invested anywhere at any level.
Boy, that thing hit the dirt like a bull rider with no arms.
Man. And the other word is you don't want to say tariffs, right?
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Man.
Well, you know, I'm hoping.
Well, I saw where the Louisiana shrimpers are all happy about the tariffs.
Are they?
Yeah. They were bright. I saw a big news article the other day.
We're getting a lot of
Louisiana and
shrimp
shrimpers nationwide have not gotten much over the years.
And there is a distinctive difference between
domestic shrimp and
yes.
Oh yeah.
Night and day.
Yeah. No doubt about that. So we got a quarter to go. This is the season home opener for the Bayou Lacombe Cardinals. They come in with a 1-1 mark. The Bison are undefeated at 3-0. One of those wins was a forfeit win, and then one was a 22-20 win, and I think a 28-20. So they've been in some close ball games, but they really look polished offensively. Ready to start the fourth quarter? Yeah, I like that sportsmanship of Adrian Moore, the quarterback, when he's down here, he went over and shaking hands with defensive players, and he seemed like a pretty good guy.
Very affable.
In our pregame, talking to him. All right, here's Epperson going upfield, open, overthrown. Threw into double coverage, one underneath and one deep, but that was misfired. Epperson had too much on that throw.
And we've seen that a couple times tonight. Again, the 2-week off period could very well be a contributing factor to that.
So Bayou Lacombe, I think, needs to get something positive this drive, take some time off the clock, cut that deficit, and then go from there.
Yeah, I mean, and again, a little bit of self-awareness. I mean, they know that they're short at several key positions tonight, and yet here they are playing with a very high-powered, determined Bison team that is trying to herd their way through the nest.
Yes,
yet here we are, just a touchdown and 2-point conversion away from making this a game.
2nd and 10 after the incompletion downfield. Handoff, cutting it back inside, short gain up front. This is a key pivotal game for the Cardinals as they stand 1-1. It's a non-league game, but nonetheless, you're facing a good team. So next week, the Cardinals will be back at home hosting the Tri-City Savages. So Flying Ghost Productions will be on board here again for our second home game of the season. Big play here, 3rd and 7. Ball sits at the 47 of the Cardinals. They're moving left to right in their white helmets, red Cardinal on the side, white jerseys, white pants, and red numerals. Good swift move. And there goes Epperson downfield. Man, I tell you what, he swim moved an offensive guy, turned, relocated, and threw into double coverage. That wasn't a wise play, but it wasn't too far from being complete. But good double coverage down by the goal line on Chapman. I mean, I would have never thrown into double coverage, much less having to do what he had to do to get away from the oncoming rush.
Having a little bit of trouble here trying to pull up some NFLA scores, local scores. If I can get those, I'll be sure to run those out.
We ought to be checking on the collegiate playoffs, too. I was going to mention that to you.
Yeah, well, I really want to know what the Magnolia Knights are doing tonight. 4-0 team leading the conference.
Only thing I didn't like about that play call is you had 3rd and 7. Now you got 4th and 7. Marcus Conley comes into the huddle. You know, I would have much rather seen a shorter, more successful play. Trips to this, double receiver this side, one double to the far, running back to the right, 4th and 7. One of the big key plays in the ball game as we're in the 4th quarter, 13:57 to go. Efferson, Chapman is out of the lineup. Efferson gets out of trouble. Bobbles the ball on the turf. He's a sack fumble. This could be disastrous. Yep.
Yeah, I was just getting ready to say, punt the ball. Punt the ball. You're down by a touchdown. You're
in the ball game.
Even if you get 20 yards, punt the ball.
Now, this is where you'll see the demeanor of the home team drop precipitously. I don't know who's going to console who, but that fires up the defense of the Bison. It was just disastrous from when it started. When he tried to roll, he did roll. He maybe rolled the wrong way. The pressure was there, 2 or 3 guys. He went to get out of the pocket, and he drops the ball, a strip sack, and fumble recovery.
I just think you're asking too much of the situation. I know that they don't have the most robust special teams unit out there tonight, but it's worked. It's been enough. It's a bend, not break philosophy. Bend it some more.
Well,
get 25 yards on that punt, maybe. And they've almost gotten a turnover, from this put together unit. And
I just didn't like the play call on 3rd and 4th down. You go deep, 3rd and 7, and he was trying to get a longer route. You throw something short, simple. And again, they haven't hit Pig Griffin out of the backfield yet, and he's got the speed with a step on a linebacker. He could. I say try it. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But this is a big stop here because it's a 14-point deficit. If they're safe here, it'll be 2 touchdowns and 2 2-point conversions.
Yeah, and see
snap. There's more. Yeah, he's a smart guy. He cut in between the pursuit, and he had the wherewithal to lean the ball across the goal line.
Yeah, I know you're tired. And now you're one-dimensional. You don't even have the option to run the ball as much.
No.
Because it's obvious that your defense is really tired. So, it can be assumed that the Bison are at least going to keep the ball when they do get it back, for a reasonable amount of time. Scores, it's tougher. I go back to not punting.
Yes. Well, you gave up, say, 30 yards. If you punt, they're going to have their ball maybe on the 30 if you get the good snap. But still, I just didn't like the play calling, especially 3rd down. 3rd and 7, you go for a home run ball in double, almost triple coverage. That cost them big time.
I mean, if there were 5 minutes left in the game, based on the way the fatigue of the defense, I would understand that. But, we're still looking at over 13 minutes in this game. I just think that was a premature gamble.
Well, I was going to highlight some of these things that the Bison coach, Nick Blackman, said. Their core values, they got 6 of them. One is discipline. I can't read my own right. Respect is another one. Toughness, integrity, accountability, and overall character.
God bless him.
Those are all great core values, and they've pretty much shown all of them.
They really have.
And that's what he said when he took over this first year, bringing 25 players from the dynasty, that he wanted players he knew and knew their capabilities and what kind of type players they were. So that's 25 of his 40-plus on the roster, and they've proven it. Here's your boy Gardner, approaches the ball. He's changed his last couple kicks. Fielded at 30, 35, 40. Trying to cut outside, brought down. Special teams play has been excellent too.
They converge on the ball well,
yes.
And if you watch the perimeter, they stay in their lanes. And I'm convinced that they do work on this because during pregame they were actually running through a rehearsal of the kickoff team. I've never seen that before. Not in minor league. I grossly underestimated this team. In the film I saw, I did not see the 3-0 caliber team that we're seeing here.
Right,
tonight.
you had mentioned that. Yeah.
This team is every bit deserving of being 3-0 and well on their way to being 4-0 based on their actions on the field tonight.
So the Cardinals break their huddle, 13-21 remaining in the fourth quarter here at Lakeshore Titan Coliseum, home of the Cardinals here at the Nest. Need some big plays here, some quick plays, and points more than anything. Short route.
Oh, that could have been disastrous.
Overthrown.
A little bit of a high throw that's going to bring up a Garden Hub. Second down try.
I think that was too quick a throw for Everson. He likes to take just a second or two. But
The goal of healthcare services.
so 2nd and 10 after the incompletion. Everson has gotten protection for the majority of the night. There's only really been a couple plays, and he's been able to spin out of trouble other than that 4th and 7 attempt, which was just a debacle from the start. Play of the game. Not only did you not convert, you gave up the points. 2 receivers to the far side, 2 to the near. 13-17 remaining in tonight's ball game. In motion from left to right is Austin Jackson. Everson, pump and go. Oh, that's got to be a flag. Yeah. In the wide open, that was Austin Jackson. Well, the defense has seen him going by them all night, so the defender made an excellent play because he was going to be wide open.
Seems to be a smart move by number 12. He's topping his head. He's saying it's smart. On purpose.
Yep. You give up the penalty, but you save a touchdown. Everson loves the deep ball, though, doesn't he?
He does.
He just loves the deep ball. He's super accurate. Super accurate. That one pass he threw on the previous down overthrew the short route, probably the worst pass he's thrown in his life.
Well, that wind is still kicking up pretty hard out there.
I'm watching the flag.
Yeah, I just checked it out myself. And that may explain some of the overthrows that have been on this side of the field.
Yeah, and the Cardinals are going left to right on the radio dial. So that ball is taken a little bit. I still say hit Pig Griffin in a flat. Try to throw a screen pass to him or get him in the short passing game.
Yeah, so they're doing a one deep zone. They're really giving up a lot of pockets in the field.
Inside, yeah, they are. Everson.
And yet they throw right into the coverage areas.
Yeah. Well, Jackson broke about 2, and he threw into coverage. He threw into triple coverage. He's got to be getting close to double-digit receptions.
You have to wonder, though, if they could run some sort of crossing route to draw that midline coverage to the other side of the field and then bring someone to the backside. It's wide open. You got one safety back there.
You're not joining the Coast Guard, are you? As a former Army guy, you're not going to join the Coast Guard.
I love the Gulf of Mexico. Well, I guess Gulf of Mexico. We'll say Gulf of America, whatever.
Yeah.
I love the water. So, yeah, sign me up.
Shotgun formation, 2nd and 3 after the nice hookup with Jackson. Good hard run inside, but he's not going to go very far.
Cliff's got to get his shoulders down on that. He's running way upright.
Yeah. He's had a great second effort, though, hadn't he?
I think if he could dole out some punishment, he gets to the second level on some of those runs. He's got that low center of gravity, lower that shoulder, really big thighs. He's super strong. Punish him.
Yeah, under 12 minutes to go. Cardinals need a couple scores, but they need to get one on this drive. Somebody just took a timeout. So you got a team that comes in the Midstate Bison that are 3-0. You got the Cardinals first time at home, 1-1. Didn't play last week, as you've mentioned, so they've had a 2-week layoff. Their first game, they didn't get to finish the game, had about a minute or something left. They were down on a drive, but the game had to be called, official decision, and rightly so, and that's all I'll say. But so here, this is their first home game, but you can't now fall behind by 16. And even though you have shown a propensity to be able to have a quick scoring offense with Chapman and tonight Austin Jackson, the the secondary's got to know that, and they got to be looking for the deep ball. So that's why I say do the shorter under routes, do the crossing routes, do a slant route. But he continues to try to throw this deep ball. Shotgun. Cardinals trail 44-28. Straight drop, no pressure, slant inside, short route.
They're gonna give him that all night.
Oh yeah.
Caleb Campagna on the first down.
Tell you what, between Campagna and Austin Jackson, they got a lot of catches between them. They've really limited Jared Jackson and Chapman. With Chapman's one big miss, they've limited him. He's been a little injured, though. He looks like he hurt something early because he's not himself. His speed, his break. You still trying to check some scores and stuff?
No, I was actually going to give us that was a Lewis coach's first down. I haven't mentioned our sponsors lately.
Well, you better get on the stick, as they say.
Oh, he said, excuse me, a U.S. Coast Guard first down. Yeah. We're staying with the water
Coast Guard paying them big bucks for that sign-ups. Straight drop, time, one-on-one, far side, open, diving attempt.
So far, great throw, great attempts.
He didn't leave him a whole lot of room in the back.
No, there's something about that side of the end zone, though, that the Cardinals have just come up empty.
It's going to be a Garden Hub, second down.
Who is that out there that made the diving attempt?
That was Xavier
Chapman. That's his. He's slower and slower coming back. I think he dove on the football there. I think he landed on the football because he never totally walks back. Another miss.
Again, the second level is wide open.
But again, you can't run the same. I don't care what kind of shape, conditioning. You can't run the same. He's not even back in the huddle.
Yeah.
That should be a flag. He's on the defensive side, and he's still not. Now he just comes back. You can't run that fresh all the time, I don't think.
Right.
And if he don't go to him and he's a decoy, he's still running the route. 2nd and 10. Handoff over the left side. Man, Demons were there, ready, willing, and waiting.
Easy opportunity, though, to misdirect by running, setting up like you're going to run a bubble screen and bring someone right over the middle. That safety's all by himself. But this is another part of the game that has evolved and changed. Tight ends, for example, they're not used with the frequency that, especially in minor league, you never see them.
You don't never.
They are the perfect weapon for this type of defense.
I doubt that they have a tight end on the roster. Nobody I know is set up in a tight end blocking or receiving formation.
But again, the tight end position is largely geared for the under center quarterback.
Oh, yeah, primarily, yeah. 3rd and 13. Ball at the 28-yard line of the Bison. They comfortably lead 44-28. Must have conversion on this trip for the Cardinals. Snap, drop, looking, pressure from the backside. High throw, nearly. That was a dangerous pass attempt there to set up 4th and 13. Did you catch the score?
I did. We got the Road Warriors tonight, winning 9-6 over the Magnolia State Knights. So we have someone has fallen from the undefeated ranks of the undefeated,
and somebody kicked the field goal,
which tells you
maybe not.
The Road Warriors are every bit of what they were last year, the defending champs.
As they won the championship.
Because Magnolia State Knights they've come to play. They're really good. They are no longer undefeated, and and that's the team. That's the team that they were supposed to. The Cardinals were supposed to play in week 2. Again, it goes back. It's a blessing that they didn't have to play that game because I think this game is proving that they're not quite ready for that level of competition.
I think that game has been rescheduled for the 17th of May, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct. So the Cardinals are going to have some time to work this stuff out.
Date. Yeah. That was that real bad weather. Everybody was predicting that. We got some bad weather, but not to the degree that they felt.
But I'm gonna say that what I've seen tonight, I dare say that the Bison would beat the Magnolia State Knights.
They need a stop here, but it is 4th and 13. And you got to pick it up, so you got to go upfield a little bit.
You going to go on a limb and say this is the game?
Yes. Snap. Looking upfield. Could run. He could run. He stops. That makes sense.
First down, Jared Jackson near the 14-yard line.
Okay, we got it.
Move those.
I thought he was going to run it. Yeah, I thought he was going to run the ball. Had a lot of room, but it was 13 to go. So, second life. That Coast Guard sponsored first down coming at a big time for the Cardinals. Jefferson jogs. I'd like to put a step watch on him, how many steps he runs in the course of a game. Every offensive coming, getting every play, and running back to the huddle. 8:55 left in the ball game. Must-have drive for the Cardinals. Clock working against them. Turn, handoff, Pig Griffin, cutting left, right, 10-yard line. Oh, I thought he should have cut it inside.
Run by Pig Griffin on the right side of the offense.
He's had double-digit carries tonight, but not much there. Clock becomes the ally of the Bison here. Under 9 minutes, 8:24. Clock is rolling. They have that 16-point lead. Got to be a little sense of urgency if you're the Cardinals. You got to get a score every time you have the ball, but you can't take an excessive amount of time to do it.
Yeah, and they're going to need two-point conversions as well.
Yeah, you need 2 scores and 2 2-point successful conversions and not give up anything else. Under 8 minutes, clock rolling here in the fourth quarter. Straight drop.
There it
slant.
is.
Oh, nice defensive play. Safety got across, and I thought that was going to be that was Chapman. Chapman thought he had that on the slant route. He was open. He beat his defender, but the safety in the middle of the field.
But that lone safety back there, if you go right over his head, there's no one there.
Yeah, well.
So they run him in front of that safety, and you saw the end result.
Yeah. I think he was a little late on the delivery because he was open. He had a step or two on his initial defender in the slant route at about the 3 or 4 yard line. Clock stopped on the incompletion. 7:50 to go in the ball game. 4 down territory, a 2-point conversion if they're successful getting in. Pig Griffin to the right of Efferson. 2 receivers either side of the formation. Straight drop, time. Here's Pig Griffin. Well, they threw the little delayed screen out in the flat, but bad toss, bad execution. I don't think it would have went very far because they were defending it, but now it'll bring up 4th and 7. Only saving grace is the incompletions have stopped the clock.
Yeah, and this is the ideal territory to run. You know, you give the look like you're running dual slants, and you hit, your third option right over the top. You bait the defense in.
Well, he looked his way the whole time, and the defense read it. So there were 3 guys. He wasn't going to go anywhere had he made the catch. I'm not sure that he didn't kind of throw it poorly to almost like just to throw an incompletion to save the down because there were 3 defenders right there. Another key play in the ball game. 7:46 to go. 7 yards for the first. Ball situated at the 10-yard line of the Bison. Pig Griffin to the right of Efferson. Straight drop. Pressured out, left to right, looking upfield, looking. Throws across his body, way out of bounds. Man, that was about 5-6 yards out of bounds. What kind of route was Chapman running?
No idea.
I mean, he was at least 5 to 6 yards out of the field of play.
Yeah.
And Efferson threw it to him. So
7:37 here left in the fourth quarter.
See what the Bison can do offensively and what the Cardinals definitely need a turnover. They need a fumble, strip fumble.
They're going to need that if they're going to win this game because at this point, it's most likely the Bison are going to use that ground and pound.
Oh, yeah.
And wear this clock down. They're already tired, understandably so.
Yeah.
I mean, Stephen Wright's been playing both sides at this point in the game. So I'm assuming there's some injuries on the offensive line for him to be out there playing on offensive line, and now he's back out there as defensive tackle.
Well, they experimented with that last year with him and Abe Dawson and Garrett Scheckschneider being hurt and whatnot towards the end. That's why he had to give it up, Garrett, the Viking, because of his medical.
And it would take a special kind of athlete to do that effectively. I mean, this is not the Deion Sanders era where you play the outfield 1 minute and you're playing cornerback the next. You're in the trenches, both sides of the ball.
Couldn't you see Garrett at 385 and his build powerlifting?
Right.
That would be a show to go watch.
Yeah.
Cardinals need a stop in the worst way, and they need to get it quickly. Ball on the 10-yard line of the Bison. Snap. There's your running game up the middle. He's home free. 20, 25, cuts inside. Ball is on the turf. Did they call him down?
Yeah, he did lose the ball, but
I think they're
they're
calling it down.
Nope. Jeffrey Sheriff on the recovery.
Nice quick hitter, though, huh?
Yeah.
Big run on first down. That could have been a turnover that we were asking for. That could have been a key element of the ball game. I personally would just keep the ball in the hands of Adrian Moore.
Well, I don't know about you, but I'm going to be checking the schedule for when the Bison play their next big opponent, or maybe the Road Warriors, to see how they match up against them.
They've got an efficient offense and a number of weapons. Good receivers, 2 or 3 of them. Good running backs. They've mixed the ball up. 3 different backs.
2 capable quarterbacks with one that's well above par, obviously.
Shotgun. Running play, cutting it left to right. Good stop in the interior line by the Cardinals.
Second down. Fan impact play. Let's make some noise. Let's run that center. Let's run that
Clock, the ally of the Bison, running down quickly. 6:15 to go in the ball game here at Titan Coliseum on the campus of the Lakeshore Titans. For minor league football, a home of the Nest. You got to get Stephen Wright there on the edge to bypass a blocker or something and create some havoc in the backfield. They're absolutely in no hurry to snap this football. Gain of 2, 2nd and 8, 29-yard line.
And I don't think I've seen this level of coordination since the Crescent City Kings of 21.
Quarterback keeper, man, he just knows when to burst. First down. Moore made it off. No, the ball was out. I didn't hear the whistle, and the Cardinals have recovered it, but I don't see a touchdown.
Yeah, it's from my vantage point, it looked like he was down.
I think so.
The ball was ripped as he got down, and the ball was ripped out. And it's going to be the Cardinals' ball.
I don't see that just yet, but let's see. This will be a big play, obviously. Near a first down, if not a first down, by Moore on the quarterback keeper. Hits the hole quick. Good blocking off the left side. Kind of was rolled down. Officials at about the 45 of the Bison still discussing this play.
Was it?
We got Fagan Davis looking at the instant replay, and hard to tell. No fumble. Oh, no instant replay. So he didn't get to look again. He just saw it as we saw it. And we don't know. The scoreboard operator doesn't know. Guerin's called 2 different things, so we don't know. We're still waiting for it's a key part of the game. It's a 16-point deficit, but if this, in fact, is a fumble, and if the Cardinals possibly recovered it, this could be a key turning point. There's your Jeopardy theme. Like that?
And there's your final call from the ref. It is going to be Cardinals first down.
So they do call it.
See, from my vantage point, it looked like to me he was down. But hey, well, perhaps obviously had a different opinion of
I'm
it.
glad the officials got to it because that's what it was. I think they called different things, down by contact, and then just think had they hadn't blown the whistle and the Cardinals get a touchdown on it.
Well, proof that a former Cardinal can be impartial.
Yeah, there you go. But you gotta take advantage of this turnover at a key situation. We're down to 5:23 in the ball game. Still enough time. Cardinals appear to have their 3 timeouts on the scoreboard. I'm not sure what this delay is about. Got about 3 or 4 Bison huddled in between 3 or 4 or 5 of the officials, probably showing their dismay of like, what did you guys just call? And I guess I thought you would go over to the other side. And I asked their head coach, I think, at about the far hash mark, at about the 42-yard line up at the other side of the field.
I'm willing to
bet you got 2 Cardinal coaches on the field
discussing the spot.
Now, Blackman is still wanting to come over, but he knows better. But, hey, if you're 10 yards in the field to play, you may as well come the other 10 to 12 and just get in on the conversation, because there's 2 Cardinal coaches right there. I think that's Coach Jefferson, Jabari Jefferson's dad, who's over at Pearl River Community College. Dad said he runs a 4.37.
Really?
Yeah, so that's hustling. That's moving and grooving. I normally go to high school athletes, and they say if they're a 4.6, that you got to get that down. How do you tell a guy at 4.37 he's got to work on his speed?
So it looks like the videographer that's down there in the field is actually showing the officials the replay.
Now, that's not part of the game plan, is it? Can you do that? Huh? Well, who's paying the photographer? The league? Oh, you are? Okay. Oh, there's no homegrown stuff here. He is. That's what they're doing. You're exactly right.
So we're going to find out
if over here go, I got to get home, man. What we doing? No, you back? You got a bad back.
We're going to find out if my calibrated eye was right.
I don't know, but color guy, you need to start filling this right here, because I have no idea what's going on. It's either was he down, but they already awarded the ball. They've moved the sticks. It's a first down.
So
we have a videographer on site that is looking at.
Now let's see what's going to go. It's 5:20.
Well, this instant replay is actually more entertaining than the NFL's.
Yeah.
You get some rat that puts his head in the hood. That's not fun.
Yeah.
We go around about doing 20 to 25 air shows a year, demonstrating the capabilities of the A-10.
Thank you this morning for allowing me to be here. It's time. Talk to your kids now.
I would have driven 100 miles.
Well, it looks like the offense is going to
be the Bison.
The offense is on the field. So
yeah.
First down Cardinals. Play stands is called.
Wow. They're about 5 Bison. They crazy. They going nuts with the officials.
After a lengthy review, it's going to be first down Cardinals.
Woo!
Morris Bautista in the stands tonight.
In the big scheme of things, after the video replay by the photographer and X number of officials, X number of players, it will be 1st and 10 after the fumble, which is recovered by the Cardinals, giving them second life. 5:23 to go. New set of downs, 1st and 10, ball on the 39 of the Bison. See if the Cardinals can take some advantage. Straight drop. No pressure. Up the field. Caught by Campagna, I believe.
Great catch, Caleb Campagna.
Campagna, what a reception. That's what you need. I mean, other than, I think he's dropped maybe one ball, and that was a potential touchdown.
Touchdown.
But he's run great. All of the receivers run great routes, and with the exception of maybe 2 balls.
So if they score, we don't have a very good kicking team. Do you take the chance and do what they've been doing, or do you attempt to do something a little bit more exotic?
Well, one thing at a time. Let them
Fair
score
enough.
first.
Fair enough.
Let them get the 2, and then we'll address that. Good question. It is a good question. Shotgun. See if they can. Oh, low snap, bad balls on the turf. Man, Pig Griffin had no idea where that ball was. He couldn't help his quarterback. And I don't know about why you would bring him in the flat now. I want to keep him in for pass protection because they're starting.
Because you're not likely to be thrown to him anyway.
No, that's what I'm saying.
If you're going to spread him out like that, have him delay to bait the defense in and then break out.
Because
they
almost returned the favor there and gave the ball back. Efferson looking for points quickly. Right at 4 minutes. Looked like an instant replay of the 4th and 7 play earlier this quarter. The turnover is returned. You know, the snaps have been pretty good most of the night, but the ones that were bad were 3 or 4 low ones. Talk about a gift horse that you missed and gave it right back.
19. He's 19.
So 3:48 to go in the ball game. Something's got to give here with just every player out there. If there's an official in his vicinity, is chatting with him. Now the Cardinals.
I don't. What are they discussing exactly? Is it the spot?
I could
that
only
is a strange spot.
I could only guess the spot. But
I don't. That's
we got a lot of officials out there, and one of them needs to take charge. The white hat, but we don't have a white hat, so.
Interesting spot.
44-28. Demons.
It's all academic.
They get around that costly potential turnover, and they get the ball right back. They're going to run the ball off this left side.
Make some noise, fan impact play. We might be able to make something out.
Short gain over this left side. Well, the Viking, Garrett Scheckschneider, is still in the stands, so he hasn't departed.
Shout out to Morris Batti's former Cardinal great, legendary, sitting next to Garrett Scheckschneider in the black shirt down there, Morris.
Oh, Garen Narcisse giving some love out to Morris tonight. Got to love that.
So shotgun formation is more. They just need to protect the football and let this 11 plus 3 minutes 11 run off the clock. Probably be in Moore's hands. Oh, he throws a pass.
Pass stops the clock.
Luckily, he was in front of the quarterback. It was not a lateral, and the clock stops. But I don't know about that.
Pretty liberal about that too. If you've noticed that a lot of these passes that you see like that are really beyond the line. They don't if they're dropped, they don't necessarily enforce that very often.
I know you're trying to pick up yardage in the first down, but you're faced with 2nd and 8 at that point. So let's say the defensive guy over there jumps that route. You wish you hadn't thrown it.
No. Oh, wow. What a fake.
What a fake. Got a first down. And he stays in bounds. That is the epitome of
a veteran.
A veteran athlete at the quarterback position making proper decision after proper decision all night long.
He might be the best in the league at that position.
He's the best I've seen to this point. Not just this, in my time with the Cardinals, he's the best I've seen. And they've had a couple, 3 or 4 good ones.
That's a bold statement. Because I'm going to say Jaron Williams.
Yes,
he's got to be in that conversation. He's got to be in that conversation.
This guy, for the whole course of the game, throwing the ball, running the ball, making the right plays, he's the best I've seen. Good handoff off the right side, short yardage.
Right side looks like it's going to be
and I don't envision the Cardinals taking their 3 timeouts because you're down by 16. Cardinals will be back at home next week on Saturday with a 7 o'clock kickoff from Lakeshore High School Titan Coliseum. Tri-City Savages coming in.
2-minute warning.
That's a 2-minute warning on the field. Now, Cardinals had their chances tonight and have been in the ball game, but when you go down that 16, you got no kicking game. The worst series, in my opinion, was the opening kickoff of the third quarter when they went just 50 yards in a couple, 2-3 plays and just kind of demoralized, I thought, the Cardinals. They did come back and answer themselves, but that was a tough spot to give up points at that point.
Well, the team's going to have a chance to do a little bit of self-reflection. I mean, they have been off for quite a while. And it's always disappointing to lose and travel all the way to Jackson. That's a long trip. Again, just some series of unfortunate circumstances, the weather. This is really, in a lot of ways, you could make the argument this is opening night.
Yes.
They got some things to work out. This is a very talented team, no doubt. And there's a winning tradition here at Bayou Lacombe Cardinals. So, is it time to pull the panic button? Absolutely not.
No.
But they definitely have to look within themselves to get some things fixed.
Well, I'd be interesting to see what they're going to do in a week to fix their non-kicking game due to injury.
It ultimately hurt them.
JP being out of town.
One of my concerns was that the Bison would exploit the deficiencies on the special team side, and they did. I mean, starting with the bad snap.
Well, the executive director, Garen Narcisse, is sitting over here, but if I were in his shoes, I would say you got to go out and try out somebody during practice. If you practice twice a week, you got to get somebody that can kick the ball off. You cannot continue to give up the ball at the team's 45 or on your side of the field and think you're going to be successful.
Right.
They had one of those kicks that was a near fumble recovery, but special teams play, give it to the Bisons. They were set up for everything that was going to happen, and they took care of that.
Yeah, as a normative part of their
credit.
game, you can't do that. It was a bend, not break philosophy tonight. It was a one-off, but you can't do that week in, week out. You are correct.
Starting the season 1-2 is not what anybody wants, but they've always shown a propensity to come back. So they'll be at home again next week. Handoff, left side, bouncing in and out.
Yeah, and for the
Did you see 55, the offensive lineman?
No, I missed that.
Well, Stephen Wright is at this defensive right end, and 55 shot out. The ball was coming that way, and the running back saw Wright out there being semi-blocked. That running back cut inside of Stephen Wright so fast. He said, no, I'm not going out wide with Stephen Wright there. He just looks like a football player. You look at him right now, he's head and shoulders height and weight above everybody that's out there right now.
Yeah, that
clock is running.
That's for sure.
Down to 117, and I guess Cardinals will not call their 3 allotted timeouts. 3rd and 5 pickup for all intents and purposes. If they pick this up, the ball game will be finalized. There's 4 in motion. Now, I don't know about this. Why do you make that call? Get your quarterback hurt on a last
the guy's 39 and still playing full contact football at the most important position in the game.
That's what I'm saying.
He seems impervious.
I would have pitched the ball to the running back going in motion.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it's a testament to his durability.
So they may have to run one more play.
Mike, I want to know, should we go down there and ask him for an autograph at the end of this game? Would that be too much?
I'm a fan. Yeah, that might be, but I'm a fan. I mean, I
am too.
I will follow him and watch him.
Yeah, his leadership, his demeanor.
He's done it all. The play when he was running out of bounds and stopped and took a knee.
Yeah.
I wish we had stats, but he's definitely the of the game.
And and I know this team is going to be upset because they lost, but I hope that when the dust settles, that they recognize they get to play with giants. They get to play amongst giants.
They were in the game. Credit to them coming back. So that probably will be the last play of the game.
I think it's safe to say that our Lewis coach's MVP of the game is going to be Adrian Moore. Would you agree?
No doubt.
Yeah.
No doubt. The 39, soon-to-be 40-year-old.
Yeah.
Coach told me he was 40. And when we introduced ourselves before the game, he said, no, I'm 39. I don't turn 40 till October. So he's closer to 39, I guess, than he is 40. October. Do that math.
Yeah.
We're in April. October.
And he looks so athletic.
Yeah, he is. He just made all the right plays.
Taking very good care of himself.
Here you go with the victory formation. You're up by 16, but that's good coaching, too. They go under center. You got the victory formation, and you're up by 16. So that's just doing all of the basics. Win and lose from start to finish. I was impressed with Coach Nick Blackman, formerly of the Mississippi Dynasty, won championships in the league, brings over 25 of his players. Very impressed on the phone this week, getting his roster, talking about his roster, and meeting him before the game. And so I just want to highlight their values again, their core values. 1 is discipline. 2 is integrity. 3 is toughness. 4, play with respect. 5, have accountability. 6, play with character. Did we not see all 6 of those tonight?
Absolutely. And, shout out to the Bison. I'm a Mississippi native.
Yeah.
Way to bring it home, boys. Good job. Way to represent classy, show up here in Lacombe and play good football, good, clean football.
All right. So we'll wrap it up from Lakeshore Titan Coliseum, our final tonight, 44-28 in favor of the visiting Midstate Bison. They moved to a perfect 4-0 in the year. The Bayou Lacombe Cardinals slipped to an kind of uncontrollable 1-2. They haven't been under 500 many times in their career. They're 54-17 overall in franchise history coming into tonight. First-year coach E.J. Walls, former offensive coordinator, takes over the reins this year. So good performance overall, I thought, by the Cardinals. They had no kicking game whatsoever. So I don't think I've ever seen this much scoring and so many two-point conversion attempts in my entire life. So kudos to Flying Ghost Productions, to the sole guy doing it all by himself, Fagan Davis, and I don't know what his brother Justin, he's probably out making movies or making big money, and his sister, is it Keisha or Keisha? Keisha. So Keisha, that's the third cog in this wheel for Flying Ghost Productions. I'd like to thank my broadcast partner, Lance Foster, former Cardinal member, place kicker extraordinary, and he did do 7 years in the Army, so I won't hold it against him. I only did 30, but he did do 7, so that's almost double digits. So next home game, if you're available, we want to see you.
Brother, it's been nice. Thanks for having me out again. Always fun to work with you, man. It's been a pleasure.
My pleasure. Take care. Final, once again, 44-28.